If I turn the mic on, can you hear me, Steve? Let's see. And I had Raquel, I had you on through that little app that's supposed to pull you in. Let's see if I can see what's happening. This is what happens when you do live stream for the first time with OBS. Yep, I pressed the record button too, so we did record the first few minutes. Let's see if I can see where that. Oh, here it is. Control audio. You know, that was a checkbox probably. Let's see. Done. Yeah. Let's see if now can you hear Raquel? That's what I had done. I forgot that checkbox there. Yep. So let's see. I think I need to add myself here. So we'll fix this. Yep. Yeah. Could you? I think you'd have to open up a web browser and just go to YouTube. Just go to the channel on YouTube, and then you'd be able to see it. So let me. Yeah, I think you could minimize that window you have open for the chat link. So let me add myself back as an audio source. This is why I pay myself the big bucks, so to figure out. Yeah, I'm the producer of the show, right? So I think we should be able to hear. He says he doesn't hear Raquel. Let's see. We can always skip to StreamYards if we have to, but let me check this setting here. Let's see. You know, I watched a YouTube video on how to do this, and I thought I followed all the steps. So, well, Steve is here helping. Thank you, Steve. Let me see if let me go into the chat and just tell him I updated some things, and let's see if that works. Yep. No. We won't tattle, Steve. Yeah, I thought. Yeah. Yeah, I thought they'd be over by now, but let's see. Thankfully, thank you, Steve, for being in the chat and letting us know we would have done the whole show. And then I've heard of that with people doing lectures for for Zoom, and then the professor did the whole lecture. Yeah. All right, now Steve, can you hear? I changed. It was monitor off. It had we were set to monitor only, mute output. I think. Fingers crossed. This is gonna work. Let's see. If not, we'll switch to StreamYard.
Yeah.
Let's see if now if the great Steve Mitchum, my audio just cut
Oh,
out.
no.
How about Raquel? Huh? What I'm using for people, it's called OBS Ninja, and it's supposed to allow you to. So Raquel, I've been chatting, no problem. It's kind of like a Zoom. Okay, why don't you say something, Raquel, and see. Sorry.
This is very un-ninja-like. That's what I would like to say right now. Or perhaps I am incorrect. Perhaps it is very ninja-like because it is so stealthy that no one can hear it.
No one can hear. Yeah. Oh, success! You can hear
wonderful,
Raquel,
wonderful.
and I guess you can hear me. I'm hoping. I'm hoping that's the case. If not, I'll put that other mic back on and I'll hear. I'm seeing myself, the audio
Both. He
mixer
knows
go.
both.
Both. It worked. It worked. So we didn't even have to call Scotty to get that to work. That's great. Now, hopefully, when I switch the other scene, I might have to change some settings. But I'm going to keep it on here now. I was showing everyone some pictures of the Doomsday Machine. So. And from the episode, so thank you for bearing with us. I don't know if hopefully other people are out there, but yeah, loud and clear both. Okay, so and we should have called Ahura. I should, Scotty's the mechanical side, Ahura's the communications. So.
Yes, she's the communications engineer, head of the department, in fact.
Yeah. So here's a nice screenshot. I don't know, Raquel, if you can see. If you minimize your Ninja screen, you can go into the YouTube. Video and YouTube stream and see what I'm showing, hopefully.
Okay,
but so this is it'd be a few seconds behind, but so this is the new remastered, which I thought was beautiful. As much as I love the original series, remastering it doesn't bother me because it's part of it. It's still not perfect. The CGI is not photorealistic, so it kind of looks a little off in spots. I should say off, but looks retro is maybe the right word. And the Doomsday Machine is always one of the the most fun episodes. I thought exciting. That Moby Dick, Kirk, saving the galaxy. So with these new effects, I think it just enhances it. It doesn't just detract from the episode.
Yeah, I just love this whole idea. Although I do like making Snortopoopas laugh, that at this scale, it is slightly pornographic.
Well, we'll see how we print it, right? Okay, we've got the great Chris Persian in the chat.
Chris is here. Chris!
Is here. Awesome, Chris. Yep. Says hail, Mark D. The man, there's more people waiting for a Turvis basement than I do wrenches. And hail, everyone's favorite Canadian, Raquel Briggs. Yep. And hello again, Steve Mitchell.
that Chris speaks truth and so articulately. Absolutely. I just I love your office. You have the best office. I could probably spend all day in your office. I would just kick you out. I'd be like, look, go spend time with your wife. I'm going to stay here in your office. I'm going to touch everything in your office.
Yeah, it's it's as a collector, I've said it before, like that's what's fun about collecting and then sharing that with other people. So thank you for that, Chris. And then like when my nieces and nephews would come over, I had my office used to be in the basement. I moved up in the world. I got a first floor office now in the house. But they would come and people, the kids would come over and they'd like stare up at the ceiling because I have all kinds of any action figure that would fly. I have them like hanging from the ceiling with fishing wire. And about 20 Star Trek ships, so they would just come and they couldn't stare at the ceiling for a while, which was they're like, Uncle Mark, these are such cool figures and things.
Yeah, well, it is cool, right?
Yep, fun stuff.
So what you're saying is nerd and geek run in your family.
Yep. Thankfully, my sons not so much. They kind of watch the shows with me, but my nephews actually, shout out to Dylan and Gavin. They really love watching the comic stuff. My sons too, I should say, and my daughter. But she likes Doctor Who a lot too.
Oh, nice.
Yep.
Very good. Steve Mitchum says, I still maintain that Dr. Hercumonkey and Snortopoopas should have a channel called Dr. Snort Monkey Poop.
Snort a monkey poop. That's awesome. Yeah. That's awesome. Yep. So here's the remastered Doomsday Machine on the screen right now, and then I think this is that might be the old effect. Yeah, that looks like the old effect to me.
There's a bit of a delay on this side.
Yeah, so before you see it, yeah, you'll hang out, and then as I show it, yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the old. But when you watch the show, it still worked because it was such a good and well written episode. And you've got the great actors, and who was the I'm drawing a blank, the captain who sacrificed himself. Or was it a Commodore or Captain?
It's a Commodore.
Commodore, correct? Yeah.
Yeah, Decker.
Thank you. Yep.
Yeah, Commodore Matt Decker. He's a bit of a loon. He's a sweaty mess. He's a sweaty hot mess that day.
Yep.
And he had to kamikaze in order to save the galaxy from the the Doomsday Machine. And thank goodness that he did.
Yep. Thank you. So that was Kirk, you know, they're using their brains, which I loved about this episode too. They find out when Decker sacrifices himself, a fluctuation in the power output of the Doomsday Machine. So you know, they use their brains. It's not just you know, although the end solution is, you know, Kirk risking his life, but it's still, there's a, you know, it's not just, you know, hey, just drop some bombs here and blow them up. They had to think about what they were doing.
Yeah.
To make, you know, to actually destroy the creature. Or
Yeah, well,
robot
Jonah had to do more than give a little indigestion. We had to make sure that the Doomsday Machine went boom. So yeah, very
Yep.
important.
So yeah, the acting in that episode was great. And then of course, I think, you know, when the Commodore Decker, was a horrifying line when he says he had to leave all his crews on the planet for safety, and he was the last man on the ship. And then when they turned towards the planet, you know, that was he knew that was their end. He said, I'm, you know, paraphrasing the line, but, you know, don't you think I knew that? And I thought his performance was really great in that
Yeah,
episode.
and it's a great story, right? Norman Spinrad brought together a lot of different ideas, you know, Jonah and the whale, and like you were saying earlier, the white whale, right? Moby Dick.
Yep.
And so there are a lot of wonderful things happening here as you imagine this what would be in Greek mythology a Titan.
Yep.
Here you have this enormous Titan that threatens your very existence, and you could think back to the Theogony and Works and Days, and you can see this whole idea that chaos was this yawning mouth, and it created the universe. And so here we see this yawning mouth in this Doomsday Machine, and it's a great story, especially when you're young, and then when you get older, you appreciate it for its illusion and for all of its ideas. And of course, it is one of the best TOS episodes. In fact, possibly one of, well, in my estimation, one of the best Star Trek episodes of all time.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. And there was a fun story in college. In the New York area, WPIX Channel 11 would show Star Trek every night at midnight. So growing up, we would watch, you know, Star Trek at midnight, and with a bunch of friends, especially on the weekend. Then you'd watch it, and then at college, everyone was playing fire alarms, which you shouldn't do. It would always happen, or everyone was trying to see who was hooking up with who, or for whatever drunk reason. And so we had like 5 minutes left in the episode, and I'm arguing with the RA. I'm like, it's a fake alarm. I'm like, I'm not leaving. And he's like,
no.
But you've seen this 100 times. Your room is covered with Star Trek posters. Like, I never not finishing watching the Doomsday Machine. You can write me up, but I'm not leaving. It's like, you're crazy. Like, you know. So it was always a running joke with, you know, with everyone. So here's let me just put this for review up only. I think I can, you know, we're definitely not monetized here, so I can put for review purposes only, and show we won't show any sound, but there's just a few clips of I can play it with a little bit. I don't even know if it'll come through, but here's that great music from I'll turn the music on and off so we don't get zapped. But if anyone's watching, this is for review purposes only. I don't know how the copyright gods work, but so this was just a video I found. Someone had just
Soul Kaplan, we're using your music for educational and critical purposes. This is critical. We are this is a critical review. Educational purposes
on how to 3D print. Yep. So let's get to the Doomsday Machine, then we'll get to printing in a minute. So let's see here. Whoop. I clicked my finger on the wrong thing. Let's see. That's what happens when you have you fumble on the mouse. Yep.
Look at how beautiful that.
Yep.
I mean, come on. It doesn't get any better.
Yep. No, I can't go back.
It's the best.
It's the best. Yep. Let's see.
Clobby's here. Clobby.
Oh, Clobby's here. Yep. Oh, great.
Clobby.
Welcome. Yep. We'll be printing Doomsday Machines for everyone.
I have to tell you what a great honor this is that you would have me on your show and that you would do a Doomsday Machine for me. I will cherish it, and it is definitely going in my collection center stage.
Great.
I am so excited about this, and when I saw the one that you made for yourself, I was completely blown away. What a great job you did!
Thank you, thank you. Yep. So I'm getting the video back. I don't know how I, fat thing fingers here.
That's okay.
I
That's
skipped on
okay.
the thing, but well, the backstory to that too is that when we were showing my office, Raquel had seen the enterprise phone that I have, which
Yes.
I'll show in a second, and
Yeah.
so and then I showed the Doomsday Machine, so you were all excited to to get a copy of that. So I said, no, no problem. We'd love to print one and
Well, I wasn't
show you.
afraid to ask because when you see something that's beautiful like that, what's the first thing somebody can say? They could say no, or they could
Yeah,
say yes. And I took a chance that you would say yes because I mean you're so talented,
thank you.
and I absolutely have especially as a cosplayer and a person who's married to a maker, I have so much respect for makers. My husband is a very talented maker, and yeah, when he made my anyways, I don't want to get into a big long story, but he helps me make all of the technical stuff for
Great.
my cosplay. So just watching you being able to make the Doomsday Machine it is just sensational, and I have so much respect for you as a maker and so much respect for you as a Trekkie.
Thank you. Yep, really appreciate hearing that, and that's what's great about being in a group, a community like this, that we get to do this kind of stuff and share things. So let me go now.
And
We've
I'm
kind of
100% calling you on my landline with my Star Trek phone when it gets here. And I'm phoning you on your Star Trek phone.
that'll
Do
be
you know what I
awesome.
mean? I keep saying
That'll be
Star
great.
Trek phone. I should just say Enterprise phone. Anyway,
Enterprise phone, yeah, enterprise
yes,
phone. Yep.
I'm phoning you from the Enterprise to the Enterprise on landline. How do you like that for dichotomy?
That'll be awesome. Yeah. Yeah, but if you hear a red alert sound, that's my landline ringing
Oh,
during
wonderful.
the show. Yeah, the enterprise phone is up. It's dusted and on my desk now. Yep. So also just want to welcome. We've got Brightest Day in the chat. We've got Jed is here from Pop Culture. I'm
Yeah.
also a member of that great group, Reportio Lifeform. Let's see, I don't want to miss anyone else. And Brightest Day's got a great channel too for making things in Gundam. So check his channel out. I think I have that posted below, and of course the great Clobberin Times.
Clobby! My captain, my best
Yeah.
friend. I love him so much. I'm
You
so
guys are
honored that you
awesome.
showed up here, Clobby. I love you so much. We're making the Doomsday Machine in Mark's office.
So the first step to making your own Doomsday Machine is make sure you have. We've got a Captain Clobberin is here to defeat the Doomsday Machine. So, but what I found this model through, obviously want to give credit to the person. It's Dr. Nickett, and so if you go to the first step would be obviously, well, you got to have a 3D printer. So I'll go over some 3D printer models and things like that. But we'll start with finding a model. So if you're a maker or creator, you could actually use something like ZBrush or some of the Autodesk programs. There's actually, and Steve Mitchum in the chat is an expert. He could post maybe some free free programs he'd recommend. But I have a really good friend, Chris, to give a shout out to, as an artist, and he's always helping me tweak things or make things. And I kind of like, having trouble doing this, Chris. I could do that in 30 seconds. Let me just do it for you. So that's kind of my way to get him to finish something for me. But this is a model, that really nice model I found on Thingiverse. So if you just go to Thingiverse, you can make an account on Thingiverse, and there's all thousands and thousands and thousands of 3D models. And basically, what you do, you just download the model and put it into a slicer and send it to your 3D printer and print. Now that all sounds easy, and it doesn't always work that well, and there's a lot of trials and tribulations, so to speak. But once you have everything dialed in, it works. But it's an amazing thing, because you're creating.
In this form, it looks like a plain bugle. Do you have bugles in the United States?
Yes,
you know
we
what I
do.
mean?
Yep.
I want to put some powdered cheese on that and nom nom.
Yeah, these are kind of printed a little bit small. I would recommend you print a bigger Doomsday Machine. No offense to to the person that that printed these, but then they did a nice base here. So
nice.
the first step. So once you if you like this object, which we did. So what you can do is let's see if they put my review up on. Here's my
Ooh, that would
review.
be nice.
Yeah, here's some. I'll show my pictures too. But the nice thing you can do to the person or the designer is show them, how you made it. So this is my final version. I cheated with Photoshop. I took the stand out. Let me make that full screen. And I borrowed this is a Hallmark ornament from 1994 because you have to have an awfully small enterprise. So you could print one, but the thing is with a 3D printer, it's very difficult to print something that detailed. You'd have to use the new type of resin printers now are much better resolution. So I borrowed the stand for my NX-01 Enterprise. It's a Hallmark
Oh, wow.
ornament stand, so it plays Captain Archer when you press the button from Broken Bow. And so I borrowed that. No offense,
What
Captain
are
Archer.
you doing? Oh my gosh!
Just to hold the Enterprise up here. I've got to make something.
This is beautiful. This is ridiculously beautiful. I can't even believe you did this. Your mind is a marvel. I love you. What?
You.
This is great, Mark.
Thank you. So what's I appreciate that. I'd love to hear that. So what you could do for everyone watching this, you could print. I'll show you a stand that I found. You could print a stand and use a nice trick. You could use a clear drink stirrer and drill a hole into the Doomsday Machine, or you could drill a hole into the top and hang it from a shelf. And then the other option I was thinking of was using spring wire, music wire. And attach it into the Doomsday Machine, kind of like that the fish that holds the what's that deep sea fish that has the light in front of its nose that it kind of to attract other fish, so to hold the Enterprise out. And then this stand could go back to holding the NX-01, so Captain Archer doesn't get too mad at me. But so that's how what I did as a final display, and then I went and I printed an even bigger one, which I'll show you. So the first step is you download.
This is better than the original.
And I painted it too. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So let me pull this. This is the Cura, and so Steve Mitchum says he's a 3D animator, and he's an expert, and he does this professionally. He says he uses ZBrush and Maya, and that's what my buddy Chris uses. The only free 3D program I know of is Blender, and it's surprisingly good. Yep, exactly, 100%. Yeah, I was forgetting the name, but Blender is the one that also my buddy Chris had mentioned. And Steve says, "Oh, that's really cool. Thank you, Steve." Yep. Clobberin, I think I found your Christmas gift because I'm on OBS Studio, guys, so I don't have a way to highlight your comments, but I appreciate them. And let's see, do you have USS Constellation? Yep.
A great way to really show your appreciation for Mark is to share his stream. It would be so nice if we could bump up his subs and also show people this wonderful work that he's doing. I just asked him for the Doomsday Machine, but I may commission him to do me a Horta.
Sure.
I mean, this guy is great. He's so talented. He's such a wonderful maker. And if you're a maker or a cosplayer or nerd or a geek, please reach out and shine a little light on Mark by sharing this stream. We would really appreciate that.
Thank you for those kind words, Raquel. Yep, really appreciate that. So once you've downloaded, what you do, you download the file from Thingiverse. So you can see I have a huge set of Star Trek files in here, and there's an STL file, which is usually what the slicer does. Needs. So there's different versions in here that we're playing with, but this is the original file. So you've downloaded it to your computer. It's a free file. You can't sell it commercially. Usually, there's a license on it. Some people you can actually they'll allow you to download the file and sell it commercially if you either get permission or ask, or you have to pay them a licensing fee. But so a lot of times you'll see professional artists who do fantastic work, and then the work will end up on Etsy being sold with it, and they're not getting credit for it or getting paid, which I hate to see. So that's that's the only thing that this is supposed to be for the license is supposed to be for me to make it for fun or for a guest. So, not a guest for friends and family, that kind of things. So this Doomsday Machine, I don't know why the artist did it or the designer, but they made it about 6 millimeters. So once you've dropped this
6 millimeters, that's a
Yes,
bugle.
that's a
Om
bugle.
nom nom. Imagine
Yeah.
if Mr. Snortopoopus were here. He would be like, that's not even enough to plug his nose.
Yeah, so that's not going to wipe out anyone. But so what you do, you click on the model here, and it's going to show you can actually transform you can you can move the model, you can scale the model, you can rotate it.
Maybe the person did that because of material costs. Maybe
or maybe size. Maybe the file got
it.
to be too big if you uploaded it as a huge size.
Okay.
And it's a lossless file. So by scaling it, you're actually not going to lose any detail on this type of file.
Yeah.
So right now you can see it's 6 millimeters by 6 by 6, and Z it's 23 millimeters. So what I did when I printed one, I printed 1,000 and I did 1,500. So let's scale this guy up, say 1,000%, right? So you hit the enter key. And so now
I'm so excited. I can't even talk. This is great.
So now he's zoomed up 1,000%.
Right.
So now what we have to do when you 3D print something, think of it, it's an additive process. So it's actually, like you're squeezing glue out of a tube, or I'm trying to find a good analogy for that. So you've got to build this up. So as you build this up, this is a good exercise. I'll do a slice on this. So what you do, the slicer is actually taking this 3D model that you have, and it's translating it so that it can, once it translates it, it's going to make steps. So it tells the 3D printer, which is not a smart machine. It just works in the coordinate system, X, Y, and Z.
It does, like my husband with his machining, right?
Exactly. Yep. So it would go X, Y, and Z.
Mm-hmm.
So what you do now, you tell the machine, you say, slice this for me. Once you've done that, and I'm going to do it, slice this file. There we go. Going to move that menu system up here.
Okay, I'm going to do something totally unconventional, something that is going to seem really crazy, because I'm not usually this unprofessional, but I really need to put my mic on mute because I have to run downstairs and get my husband into the chat, because he does exactly what you do. He does like multiple access machining, only he has to be able to remove the meat to make something, not make the meat. So I am going to go and do that because he is absolutely going to love this. We are going to nerd out as a family. I will be right back. I'm so sorry. I just have to. This is way too cool. Hold on.
Right. Okay. So while Raquel gets her husband, will be great. I guess I'll be in the chat and we'll be watching, which will be fun, fun to hear. So basically, everyone, this is the model here. It's printing upside down. You don't want what I wanted to show was you don't want to print it this way. You want to print it, flip it the other way, because what's going to happen, it's going to have to create all these supports. I'll wait till Raquel gets back so she can see that. But that's the reasoning behind flipping it. And when you try to print something in 3D, you kind of use your imagination or not imagination, but try to figure out which is the best way that this can print. So I just want to show this as an example of something that you'd want to print print in the other direction. So
I'm
your husband's
back.
He's in the chat. Great.
Is he here? I hope he's here because this is just so amazing.
So what I was showing everyone, Raquel, was I'm slicing it again. So, which is called the technique for breaking the print up into the size that you want, into steps, basically.
Okay.
So it's getting all the coordinates. You can see how it builds it. So if you can watch this row. Let me zoom in here. You can see how that's how the print head's going to work. Excuse me.
So do you touch off on this like you do in machining? to do the coordinates, or is the last place that that the material was printed becomes the zero coordinate? Like, I know that sounds like a silly question,
No,
but
that's a good question. Yeah, so basically what it does, I'll show everyone the G code. It's just a string of numbers.
yay, G code.
G code, yep. G code. So for my day job, I actually have at work we have some C machines and a Bridgeport, which your husband obviously knows. He probably uses the same kind of stuff. So we have Haas CNC machine. So it works on the same kind of principle. So so what this is showing you is how the 3D printer would be printing. It's just basically think of it like a hot glue gun. It's melting the filament and
Yeah.
it's shooting it down. It's doing each row at a time. So now if I go up to the next row, it's going to show you what that next row is going to be
So
doing.
it melts the material as the material is laid. So the program
Yep.
reads the the amount of meat that is required, and then it melts that amount of meat and lays it down.
Exactly. Yep. Exactly right. So you've got different size nozzles. So if you can see if I zoom out, that's the nozzle, but you've got different hole sizes for the nozzle. So most nozzles are 0.4 millimeters, but if you're printing something really big, like a vase or something you want to print that's quite large, you can do a larger, put in a larger nozzle to print faster. Excuse me, but you sacrifice detail at that point. So that's why a lot of miniatures people who do D&D or gaming, they'll buy resin printers. You can do it on an FDM printer like this, but there's some great YouTube channels out there where you can tweak the printer, but I think resin printers have more resolution, so it's easier for something for small figures. Doesn't mean you can't do them with a printer like this, but for fine details, the disadvantage with resin, it takes a huge vat, and the bigger the printer, the more expensive it gets. FDM printers like this are relatively cheap. They come way down in price. So
They
it's
used to
amazing. You
be
can get
insanely priced.
yeah. So when we
Yeah.
first looked at one for work, it was around $20,000, I think, or
Yeah.
$30,000, and that's when it had been coming down because we had wanted to print some prototypes of tools, just to see instead of machining them. Because if you machine a part, it costs thousands and could be thousands and thousands of dollars just to make a prototype, and then you have to change it again. So by being able to 3D print something, you can maybe print something in housing or just see how it's going to fit together as you
Jaworski
do it.
Pool Practice has a question for you, Mark. He says, "What is the best bang for your buck hobby printer?" So what he's talking about is entry level, and certainly this particular human I know also runs Haas machines, and he knows
Okay.
G code, and he's worked heavy access machining. Like
Yep.
what's the maximum access again?
Well, I mean, this
It's like
printer
4 or
is
5 or some stuff.
I mean, this printer is a large format printer that I have I'll show it on the screen, the
Okay.
Artillery X1, and
Okay.
it's I think it's 300 by 300 by 400 high,
Okay.
and that machine it's been really good, but it's been there's been some concerns with some of the quality, but I think the machine was only $400, so it's
That's dirt cheap.
that's dirt cheap. So you could, the best brand right now, I'd say, to get started would be the smaller format, would be the Prusa Research. They have the Prusa Mini Plus, and it's 180 by 180 by 180, and it's $350. Roughly the price, and that's probably Prusa has great support and a great. They have their own slicer, so they're a great way to get into 3D printing without buying a huge machine. There's also the bigger Prusa models. We could spend up to $1,000 on the higher end models. My Artillery Sidewinder, it's 300 by 300 by 400. It's saying it's $400 right now. Another very popular brand is the Creality, the Ender series, and those are about $250. But you can get into 3D printing. Let me just show here. I'll just pop the screen over. You can get into 3D printing for under $500 pretty reasonably these days. So here's the Creality Ender 3. It's a really popular printer.
So,
This is the printer I
Steve
have.
Mitchum, I'm sorry to interrupt you, Mark. I just don't want to leave Steve Mitchum
Oh, sure.
hanging and
Yep.
get too nerdy here, and then we lose everyone.
Yep.
Okay, so he says, I'm just a dumb animator. What is G code? No, you're not a dumb animator. You just have an area of expertise that's different than Mark and my husband's. So, G code is the instructions you give to either make meat or remove meat. And when I say meat, I mean material. So if you were going to make something that would be like a windsock, the G code tells the machine the tooling, how deep to go to make a cut, or how much material to leave down in the case of a 3D printer. So the G code is very important. My husband writes G code, and I'm sure Mark writes G code as well. And at the top of the show, I believe Mark said that this is shared G code. So let's say that Mark wanted to, we all commissioned Mark to make us Horta, and he was going to print them for us. He would either have to get the code and see what it's the size of it and if it really makes a good replica and so on and so forth. And he could then share that. He could share the code for making that particular item with someone else. In the oil and gas industry and certainly in the medical industry as well, this code, this language that you're using to communicate with the machine is actually patent and highly private information. So there are some times where you can have an employee who can't even work for another company because the company is afraid that these trade secrets will be shared through employees. So a lot of work goes into it, and it's a very special process.
Yeah, that's a great explanation, Raquel. Thank you. So here's some examples, G code on the screen. So it's basically telling the machine, the machine is stupid. It just does what you tell it to do. So you got to be very careful to give it, program the machine correctly. So if you can Google G code yourself at home, but basically it's a coordinate system. It's telling the machine almost as if there was an operator there. If you've seen a Bridgeport machine, let me just show a Bridgeport milling machine, which is made in Connecticut.
You're a milling guy, not a lathe guy, hey?
Yeah, well, both. But this
yeah,
is
my husband's both as well, but he's
yeah.
an expert miller.
Yeah. So this would be more comparable to a bench knee milling machine. So this is the world famous Bridgeport machine that was created in Bridgeport, Connecticut. It helped us to win World War II. So picture all the operators they're making things. They're manually. They didn't have a digital readout. They're manually reading what they had to make, turning these knobs. So basically, the G code is actually what the operator. Think of it, what the operator would be doing. Almost like if there was a robot standing there and doing it. So,
and this has made things a lot safer for machinists as well. Machinists, it used to be a very dangerous job. It is still a very dangerous job for lathe guys. But for people who have learned CNC and they've learned G code and they've learned programming engineering, like Mark and my husband, it has really moved our technology forward. And it's also made the process a lot more precise, a lot less time consuming, and a lot safer for the operator. So you can be working, Mark. It's likely that Mark and my husband would be working on a machine that costs $1 million, literally like $1 million. That's a possibility depending upon what shop they're working in and what they're making.
Exactly right. Yeah. So the machines are a lot safer, though. So I remember when someone came to inspect our shop, the operator. I'll turn the video off, the sound off. You could see how the machine is working. And the inspector was saying, "Well, where are the guards?" He's like, "Well, there are no guards." He's like, "Well, why aren't there guards?" He's like, "Well, there never were any guards on the machine. So if you're not smart, you could really get anything that rotates." So I won't tell any of the stories that my dad my dad
Yeah.
told, but just to be careful when you're working on a machine and
Or a
never take
millwright
it.
who would go
Yeah.
inside of a machine. I know a story about a millwright who went inside of a machine,
Mhm.
and it was like a real life story. It wasn't one of those legends, and it's very scary. I would never go inside a machine ever.
Yeah, yeah, it's not yeah. So we won't go there. But my dad, needless to say, told me enough stories that I always respected what the machine was
Yeah.
capable of doing, and
So,
always
your
thankful.
fellow nerd in the chat has said, "Yeah, I was looking at the Ender 3." So Jaworski pool practice. Then, Jaworski pool practice, your fellow giant nerd says,
Yep.
"I am running on Ibarmia Z VH 55 mil with a 5M bed. It's an
5 meter
insane,
beds. That's huge. Yeah,
yeah,
15,
it's an
15 feet.
insane machine. They are a Spanish make. The control is Heidenhain.
I'm not sure what I haven't heard of that control, but I'm sure that's a huge. Here, it's always safe to Google things like this because it's
Isn't it beautiful? So
yeah,
this is the machine that my husband works on, and this is the machine that Mark works on. My husband is also run any and all manner of hoss. Aren't they gorgeous, you guys?
yeah.
Look at this. So if you're sitting at home and you're thinking, wow, this broadcast is way too nerdy for me, I want you to think about how wonderful this is. I want you to think back to a time when the Statue of David was made. And I want you to think about the artist's mind as they envision David in that rock. And what's really funny is that's what Mark and my husband do every single day. They imagine the beautiful and technical things we need in raw material. And they make programs to remove or add metal to things, or any material actually. And in so doing, they make our world work. They make all of our machines. They make our medical equipment. They make our tools. They make wonderful, wonderful things. So it's a very unique enterprise, because these are enterprise, ha ha ha,
Yep.
because
That's
these
a good
are
segue.
extremely artistic people who have found ways to make the computer make the art that they can see in their minds. And to me, it's just a mind-boggling process. And it's why I gush whenever I hear Mark talking about his job, because my husband does the same thing, and it's such a cool and way up. Like, you're talking extreme nerd. They're both so far off in Nerdville, I can't even reach them. So anyway, back over to you, Mark. Sorry.
Thank you. No, that was great. That was really fun. But yeah, that's what my dad was an artisan. I call machinists or artisans. Just like anyone who's a craftsman or even an electrician or a plumber. They're artisans in my opinion because they solve problems and make things work and get us through the day. So he would always create some amazing things. And I'll show you. Like, I had trouble saying the letter R as a kid, so I'll grab that in a second. He cut out an R for me. But of course, my dad was Swiss, so the R is perfect. There's nothing wrong with the letter. It's like this, and he hated working with wood. He joked because it wasn't perfect enough. But just, love telling stories about him. But in Switzerland, you had an apprenticeship basically in school, and you learned to make things and learn in the machine shop. So they would give you a really complicated item to make and to duplicate, and you had to measure it. And of course, there's nothing digital back then. So my dad was, I called him a mechanical Mozart. So he was such a genius at stuff.
Oh.
God bless him. And he copied the item so exactly that the teacher said, well, there's usually, like, they're Swiss, they're, perfectionists, SOBs. So he wanted to take points off. He's like, God damn it, Ducre, I can't find a mistake or any part. He's like, it's identical to the original. So
But you're not allowed to make mistakes. I mean, you guys do things like the measurements are ridiculous that you guys adhere to. You literally do things like, okay, everyone at home, I want you to imagine somebody having a caliper that measures something. And people like Mark and my husband will actually measure something, create something to an accuracy of, if you cut your hair into four, if you sliced your hair into 4 pieces. That's how accurate their job is, their work is.
Yep.
And this is sometimes the difference between life or death for people who use the machines and tools that they make. And Jaworski Pool Practice says, the control is German, Mark. Conversational. You would love it. So incredibly user-friendly. You would never want to see G-code ever again.
So conversational machine, basically what that is, it's like a Bridgeport or milling machine where you, I've never used one, but where you enter the control, you enter the coordinates or the options for machining, if I'm explaining it the right way.
You are.
People, so that you would, it's like a semi-automatic milling machine is the best one. They've got screens, and I know my uncle, who was a machinist, would have loved to have that, for his job, because it would make things a lot easier. And there's a lot of prototyping work that's still done where you're not making thousands and thousands. You just got to make one or two pieces. So whenever they said, like, the NASA, my dad and I was joking. They said, well, the toilet seat costs, $3,000. It's like, yeah, well, that toilet seat was hand machined to be lightweight and to fit an exact, it's not like you go to, Target or Walmart and buy a toilet seat to fit in the, in the space shuttle. So,
yeah,
we'd always laugh about, stuff like that. And then Jaworski Pool Practice, Swiss watches, enough said. Yep. So exactly right. Yeah. So, but this was so in high school. My dad was doing this, so I have all the and they had to make screwdrivers and tools, and so I still have all that. So
just beautiful. It's just beautiful work.
So let's we'll get to the Doomsday Machine here now. It's in Cura. So what this is, as I said before, it's a slicer. So you can get one from Prusa. There's other different versions of slicer programs. Some are free, some are paid. Some people love different versions, or I'm not going to get into that. I just happen to learn on Ultimate or Cura and stuck with it. But once you've got the model, so you're slicing it, so it's going to produce G-code for your machine. So the nice thing about if you get a Prusa machine, they have a website where you could actually download the G-code specific to their machine. So if I shared this G-code with someone else who had a different machine, the part probably is not going to come out. Wouldn't come out right.
Yeah.
So what I'm showing here is this is the printing the Doomsday Machine the wrong way. So it's got to have supports. So you really wouldn't want to print it this way because it's adding all these supports. So let's flip this guy over. So what we're going to do here, we're going to hit, we'll go back to prepare here. And we're just going to click the rotate button. We select the model. And then we click the rotate button. What's nice here, it's just so easy. You can just grab the different axis that you want to rotate. Right. And we're just going to rotate, flip them straight down. Okay. And we're going to go 100, and you can see 180 degrees on the screen. I know, Raquel, you're on a few seconds delay here, but I'm flipping that Doomsday Machine over. Okay. So now it's on the bottom. And now what we will do, we'll reslice it. And there'll only be supports just on that spot. So I think it was 11 hours before, 11 hours and 41 minutes. So let's see what it'll come out to here. So, and then you can decide which, I'll show my other camera with the two different models that I printed. Of the machine. So now this is, so now if we go to the preview mode, now it's going to show us, when slicing for the preview mode, it's going to show us how it's actually going to print now. So it's breaking each command down into steps. Yep. So let's see here.
Can I just say how wonderful I think it is that you're showing everyone this, and that you're trying to disarm all of this technology and share it with everyone? You are a true maker. Journeymen like you and journeymen like my husband, you guys make the world wonderful. You are artisans, and you are 100% not afraid to teach and to share. And I just think this is absolutely wonderful. I wish you had 1,000 people watching this show. This is great, Mark.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. Yep. And that's you love to, share knowledge and share what you've learned.
Yeah.
This, these few steps maybe took me a few hours to, it sounds simple, but then I'll post some YouTube videos, there's some fantastic makers out there, like CNC Kitchen. And if you're into 3D printing, there's a bunch of people that have amazing channels. I'll put some of those in the links.
Did you hear that? Jaworski Pool Practice? I hope you heard those channels that he mentioned, and he'll be posting them later. If you're not following him on Twitter, please do so.
Thank you. Yep. So I'll post some of the, because no sense in reinventing the wheel with some of these fantastic videos that are out here. But I'm just like to show how how this is done for Star Trek, and just there's some great getting started videos on how to set up your machine and things like that. And I learned from those people on YouTube, which is fantastic. So I'll just go over some of the basic Cura settings just so people can see what we're doing here. So you can pick the quality. So that's 0.2 millimeters. That's showing you how detailed each layer is. And the good thing about the Doomsday Machine, since it was a paper mache windsock, you don't have to really worry about the quality as much. So the trade-off is if we go to super quality and then we slice this, it's 10 hours, right? I'm going to keep changes here, and we slice this. The time is going to go way, way up. So the machine is recalculating and said, oh, I want this super quality. How long is it going to take? And
so this is surface resolution. So if we're looking at the Doomsday Machine, you're looking at that paper mache type of quality. So you're looking at a pretty high amount of detail. So it's going to recalibrate, right?
Yep. So it's going to say, I want to print, a really low resolution per, or high resolution, I should say.
Yeah, high res, yeah.
Per layer, and it's going to print it much more detailed. We can see how long it's taken a lot longer for my computer to calculate it. We don't have Scotty here to talking to the mouse and say, computer, how quaint.
Computer.
if Clobby was in on this, he could do the so it went up to 17 hours right now.
Holy moly. Yeah, don't pick up your mouse and go, computer.
So for something like this, I'm just going to go to standard quality, and there's different things that you can do in terms of probably the most time that take into account in printing is the supports, and then how thick or what would be called the not the layer height, the infill, I should say. So how dense the print is. So I'll wait for this to finish. I'm going to put this.
You could make it pretty light, or you could make it a paperweight. For the folks at home, let's talk about super quality. So let's talk about some items that you would recommend to be on super quality, just so that people can imagine this technology taking place on another item.
Well, I would say like any kind of figures. I'll show some figures that I did. The details on the faces. If you're doing something like, say, like a tool chest, they have like tool organizers or things like that. You can do, low quality, but anything with a lot of fine detail. So like any figures that you were doing, if if we're geeks and nerds here, we're printing maybe some Star Wars figures or some Marvel figures or whoever, you'd want to be high quality.
Especially because of the face, right?
The face, yeah.
Yeah.
And what you can do to some of the programs, you get really fancy, you can change the quality within the print as it's printing. And also you can change the infill density as you're printing. There's different commands, but we're not going to do that tonight. We'll just keep it simple. But there's some videos out there that I'll put in the chat, and that was one of the videos that saves a lot of time. So now I'm going to go to 10% density.
That sounds good. Yaworski Pool Practice says, Mark, do you do any post-finishing processes? That is the part I know nothing about.
Yep, we're actually going to show some videos on how I fixed this and how I painted it. Oh, my buddy Chris is in the chat, and he just said
Hey, Chris!
He's my artist, but he's super talented and he's fantastic. So he just sent me a fixed model. So I'm going to go in to my email here. So what had happened with this, as this is rendering, there's actually a mistake in the model as it got translated. So there's a piece in the front that got fixed. So Chris is my awesome buddy. So let me download this and let's pull this Doomsday Machine in. I'm going to save this to the file here, and we can reslice this one, and Chris we'll give Chris the credit. Thank you, Chris. That's awesome.
So everyone at home, like, imagine what this will be like in the future. In one of my stories that are published through Kindle and Amazon, I talk about this in a very sly way, but the future is friendly to this technology. And I'm sure you can imagine if we had different products that were nutritious and we started printing them and we were looking at their density, how light or how heavy they were, and what they were made of, their nutritional content, how they tasted, how much spice would be in them, what the surface would look like. You can see how we can start to imagine Star Trek coming to fruition through this marvelous technology. Soon we're going to be able to make amazing things, and not just art. Well, some people would call food art also, but there might be some growing pains. I can definitely imagine us using different types of bug powders to make meatloaf and so on and so forth. But it's coming, folks, and it's coming to a kitchen counter near you.
I'm going to stick with the meat though. Sorry. So here, Chris is so awesome. So I was trying to fix this today.
Okay.
And, so my buddy Chris did. So he, as you can see, let me pull this model over. See, this is what the finished product is, and then this is the error in red here. There's something wrong with the model. So when I printed it, I just had to cut this part out and fix it.
Okay.
But let's go with this one that Chris did. Thank you for Chris using I think ZBrush.
Chris!
And if Chris doesn't mind, I'll put a link to his if he wants. I'll ask him permission, but I'll put a link to his. He's a talented artist, and some of his work. If he,
we would love to
okay
promote you. Yeah, if it's okay with you, let us know in the live chat if that's all right with you, Chris.
So let's rotate this. Oh, I did it wrong. It doesn't matter. Rotate
My husband, who is a giant nerd like you and Mark, would love to follow you. So it'd be great if you'd shared your information, but no pressure.
So this was showing there were model errors. So this one doesn't, but that was the other model had errors, but still printed okay. So now, thanks to Chris, we have this Doomsday Machine. It's less prep work or work to paint it. So let's scale this guy up. So let's see. We'll click the scale button. So that's 12 millimeters. So we can say let's make that 70 millimeters high. Let's try that and see how that goes. Yep. Because this model was bigger, so if I did 1,000%, it would be way too big. So, and you can. The nice thing is it shows you your machine here, so it's showing you it's about that's the build area. So you can print on my machine up to 400 millimeters high. So you can go a little bit. So this is excuse me. So this is. 600. What am I saying? So this is 5.
It's okay.
Yep, 540. Yep, or the Z here, 277. There we go.
Sometimes what comes out of my mouth on these live streams is not at all what is happening inside of my brain.
Yeah,
it just happens. You know what I mean? That's live. That's live radio for you, right?
Yeah. Disconnect here. Yep.
Later on, you're like head desk. How did that come out of my mouth? But that's just the nature of live radio, right?
Yep. And Steve and Chris, Steve Mitchum said, "Hi, Chris. Don. You guys are two artists, so I'm sure you would enjoy chatting or exchanging notes with each other." So now this is a 12-hour print. That's actually not too bad. So let's preview this, and let's go look and see where. So it's got some supports here. I think maybe I had this. Got to check and make sure I had that exactly flat, because normally you wouldn't have a support coming up on this side. So I've got to check that. I think I had that totally flat, but as you can see, the blue is the support. So let's drag it back down. So what it's doing, it's printing a tree here or supports in the middle to support the model. And this is the density here. So 10% density is, you don't need that much support. It's just something to look at. It's not actually going to destroy the Enterprise or destroy planets, so it doesn't need to be strong. So here's where you could see the supports in orange are meeting.
Yes.
The green is actually the Doomsday Machine.
Yes.
Inside, and those are the supports.
Yep.
And then as we go up a little bit, now it's all supports for the rest of the way on the inside. And as you go up, it's supporting that, and it's it's going up. So what we'll do, we'll start printing this.
Oh, that looks so cool.
We'll start printing this mean guy, and then let me just
The
check
blue part is the mouth, and you can see it narrow as you move up because the material will change at that point, because that's actually the Doomsday mouth. So that's why I'm going, oh, that's so cool. It's not because it's like the lights of Zatar or anything like that. It's because there is a massive transition in the way that the machine will be executing the program. So, but I mean, I don't know if I can croak like a frog.
Yeah. So Steve Mitchum is saying, I do a lot of ZBrush. Made Batman for the Dark Knight slot game. Wow, that's awesome. As well as dinosaurs for Jurassic Park slots. Like I said, that must be a slot machine. That's awesome. Yeah. So, and I know Clobby had wanted a Quizlet from.
Oh,
so
please.
If Steve, I don't want to put Steve Mitchum on the spot, but I haven't been able to find a model for that. But if someone can draw it and get me the file, I'd love to print that for him.
I will look around for it, because if I could commission you to do that for him, I would love to send that to him as a gift, because I love him. He's one of my best friends in the whole world in real life. I absolutely love Clobby.
So we'd love to get him.
He would love that.
His favorite character. Yep. One of his favorite characters.
And that he can cosplay.
Yeah, if he can fit in the ship. So the blue is actually the support here. I just want to show that. So this is called the tree support that Cura added. So it doesn't use as much material. The idea is it's just supporting where it needs to, which is really cool. I think version 4, one of the newer versions, just added that. So the idea in 3D printing, you want to use as least material as possible, because then it prints faster. And then you're saving money on the print, and so you're not wasting material. So I don't know what. Let me. I'm gonna real quickly before we send it to the machine check. It looks like this guy is at straight up. Just want to make sure he's not. Always make sure it's flat to the machine, because what happens if you print something tall like this, as you print it, it could topple over. So let's see. I think I had that at 0.
So what happens? Does the machine just stop at that point?
It actually keeps going. So that's the thing. You got to watch it or monitor it. So the machine doesn't know that it, more expensive machines are, they have fail safes, or they have sensors, or they have things. The machine wouldn't know.
Oh no.
Yeah. And so
can I ask you some questions about materials? So are there a wide array of materials that you can feed into this machine now? I mean, I know that these machines, that these 3D printing machines are provisioned for specific materials. But are there different people offering different types of resins and different types of materials? And can you identify the resin that you prefer to use, or is there a specific company you get your raw materials from for your 3D printing?
Yep. So great question. Yep. So generic PLA is the most common material right now, and you can get them all different kinds of colors. I've been using, I think it's 3D Precision, but I basically go on Amazon or Monoprice are the two sites I'd recommend to get filament. And usually I just buy what's cheaper. But I mean, there is a quality difference. So if you spend a little bit more money, I think you do get better quality. If you find a brand that you like, you kind of stick with it, and it works in the machine, because you have different temperatures that work, even from same PLA, one manufacturer likes it 5 degrees hotter maybe than another. So that's the fun part of it, and the frustrating. You've always got to tweak, when you change the material or the filament that's going in. There's also wood-based filament, so they're putting stuff in the filament now. So and there's metal-based. It's not printing metal. Well, printing metal is coming. There's high-end machines, but there's different types of filament that you can print that have metallic substances in them, and they'll actually really they'll wreck your I should say wreck, but your nozzle will wear out much faster, so you have to have a special nozzle. But you can do some really, really amazing stuff with.
Same for when you're machining, though, right? You have to make sure that you have the right tool for the right type of metal or plastic or whatever you're using. Yaworski Pool Practice says, my buddy 3D printed a replica of the Boston Garden.
Wow, that's very cool.
It's supposed to be highly detailed. It is my understanding, although I could be wrong. My husband can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe he's actually auctioning off places in the stands with your name. Like he'll 3D print you into the Boston Garden in the stands.
Wow.
If you donate to charity.
Oh, nice. Well, if we can find that link, I'll put that in the chat. Or if he did put that in the chat, we'll make sure we pin that.
Yeah,
So it's so creative. You can do, people use their imagination, create these great things, and then they use it for charity. So here's some different brands that happen to be an Ultimaker Cure. So then you can I'm just using generic, but if you had best filament. PTG is getting to be more popular now.
Okay.
ABS is much tougher to print. You have to print in a higher temperature.
Okay.
And it also gives off a smell. And that was the first probably common material. And then PLA is probably your most common material now. But PETG is getting to be another popular choice. And you can also print in flexible materials depending on your printer. So you could do like a phone case cover, things like that with your 3D printer, which is really cool. So here's some.
Cool.
I know you're on a delay here, but I'm just showing just all the different colors and sizes and things that you can get. There's some color gradient 3D material, which is really awesome. I printed the Star Trek Lego giant size figures.
I saw those.
Yeah, I'll show those too.
Office. They're cool.
So that justified buying the different colors that you needed. Hatchbox PLA. Hatchbox is a really well-regarded company. That you can see with almost 12,000 reviews there. So that's really high quality. And it's only $25 a reel, and you get quite a bit out of the reel. Yeah. So this guy looks like he's ready to go. So let's see the preview here. And I think that's a good size. Let me just slide. Oh, I added a brim, so I added a support around the model. So let's reslice it. So what you want to do is make sure that this guy sticks to the base. So as it's reslicing, it's going to show it's going to print like a base around the outside on the surface to help support that.
Okay.
So I think.
Can you believe everyone at home? Can you believe that we're watching this? Isn't this fun? Love it.
So let's see if we get. Let's see, it's slicing, it's thinking, the computer's thinking, yep. So I'll show, let me see if I switch cameras, I can show, let me see if I show my my other camera here, let's see. And hopefully we won't lose the audio, I gotta double check, I can always switch back. Let's see if I.
Yeah, everybody in the chat, let us know if you lose us.
To this chat here, yep. And hopefully everyone can hear me now.
Look at how cool they are!
So this.
Oh, look at how real they look!
Let me turn off the light here. Yeah. So here's.
You can almost hear it, can't you? Dun-dum, dun-dum, dun-dum.
So here's the first version I did, and it's a little bit more purple, I think, in that one. And that was kind of just I'll show you how I did. I just used spray cans.
You made the base look like a delta. You made a little construction horse.
Well, that's actually from an old Star Trek. That's actually from an old Star Trek model. I just stole the base. Yeah, I'll show you how I can print the base.
Awesome.
So this guy actually came out a little bit more purple. I had some more purple in that one, I thought too, but they both. And it was just done with spray cans. My buddy Chris is going to teach me some airbrush tips, but I just went through, and the outside I think came out pretty cool. So I was pretty happy with how that worked. I'll show that's dry brushing to get the white.
So beautiful. Okay, Yaworski Pool Practice says, are you limited to what you can print by the machine you have and the temperatures you can hit? He also says, Mark, if I haven't said so, thank you so much. This is great info.
Thank you. Yep. As my buddy Chris points out in the chat, he said you're not limited by what you can print, only size. So like the base of the machine, the size of the machine, and sometimes what you'll do, you could print things in half. So you'll see there's actually some not a full scale, but huge, massive enterprise 3D prints that people have done in Klingon D7s where they've printed the pieces and they'll glue them together, or they'll print half and half. Or I've had to do that with some models where you'll print part of the model like this. Say we wanted to make a super huge Doomsday Machine, you would print it. Enterprise is getting eaten there, and you would you print it. And you can cut it in half.
Just turn it a little bit. Just turn it a little bit. Just turn the Enterprise slightly.
Yeah.
So we can see it. Because the arm's in the way.
Yeah, arms in the way.
So nice. So perfect. Just absolutely love it.
Yeah.
Can't even believe that you made this. Your brain. I love your brain. Your big brain, you big nerd.
You guys were doing the show. I said, I got to print a Doomsday Machine for the show. So when you're doing that, I think this part came out better. The color, the painting on that. I kept one of these things you keep you keep working the paint, and you get it, and then you try to get it a little bit better. So this one I got to add some more red back to it. But I'm happy with the outside, but
it's so good, and it's so perfect to scale.
Yes,
excellent.
That one was
excellent. You could have easily have worked on TOS. They would have loved you.
I would have been talking to Shatner and Nimoy too much to get anything done, though. So, and then here's some other things that I printed. So let's see. Here's a group. I've shown some of these before, but here's a baby Groot. You can see. So I don't know what quality I printed that. See, if you look, close, maybe there's some imperfections you could sand. But it's just a fun thing like that. And then here's the greatest comic book hero of all time. And Chris, shout out to Chris, who did an amazing job painting this.
Chris,
so
serious.
This is what the finished product, and this is what it came off the machine. I printed them in orange. So Chris did an amazing job. That's the raw version. And then this is that's the finished version. You can see how talented Chris is there. So that's
wow, Chris, you have to let us share your work.
This is good.
Oh wow.
Yep. Here's
like you're serious. This is really nice, Chris.
There's a Tigger here. I love Tigger.
What does he have, like micro painting brushes? like super micro. I mean, this is so small.
Yeah, if you've seen some of the figures that Chris has done, it's amazing. All the miniatures that they look real. Here's just a silly, like a fun. I know you're on delay, Raquel, but this is like a fun dinosaur that you 3D print it together, so all the hinges go together. So it's like a little toy that you can give to a kid or.
Is that Tigger?
Yep. Well, before it was Tigger. Sorry.
I'm on major delay, so I'm like gushing, and everybody's already seen it. Sorry, everyone.
Yeah. So there's Tigger. Yeah. I'll just, and then here's an Eddie. So you'll be on delay. Here's an Eddie from Iron Maiden. They printed. And you could go, this is not painted, but you could obviously sand this down.
Oh, the dinosaur flexes.
Yep. So it's a flexing.
The dinosaur. Triceratops, it flexes. That's so cool.
Yeah, so you could print. Here's an octopus. If I hold this the right way, you can see how the legs. And it's all printed in place. So, and there's some designers or experts at this. I didn't design any of these. This is just something off of Thingiverse or a website. And,
Ooh.
They designed it so it would print together, and you kind of snap it apart as after it's printed, and then the item, the octopus here, he's got his legs that that move around. So it's kind of, you can attack Ben Grimm here and sit on Ben Grimm. So yeah, you can do things like that. And then remember that picture of Bernie that was really popular. So someone 3D modeled that. So I've got to get these out to my cousin, who's a big Bernie fan.
Wow.
My printer was down for a while. Had to fix it. Oh, down goes Bernie. Dropped a few, but I just kept printing them to try to test the different materials and test things. But you can never have too many Bernies. We're not getting into politics here, but that was a fun cultural moment with Bernie sitting there. So yeah, printed a bunch of Bernies for my cousin. Here's a Fantastic Four coaster symbol printed. That's off of Thingiverse too. So that's fun. And of course, you can have.
I'm getting everything on delay. It's so excellent.
Steve Mitchum says all looks great. So yeah, Chris is saying base was done in SolidWorks and 2 pieces in the 3D printed in color. Yep. And the next line is Clobby says, Steve Mitchum, I've never been arrested in my life. Well, that's good. Let's keep it that way. So here's
I kind of like the fact that Steve Mitchum is sort of telling my captain, whom I love and respect and admire greatly, but I like how Steve Mitchum, Maddie's daddy, is telling Clobby to pipe down, because if we commission something for him, we're just going to do it. We love him. I mean, I love his modesty, and I love just how reserved and wonderful he is and unassuming. But if we all do something for you, tough luck. You're getting it anyway because we love you.
You don't have a choice in the matter. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't have a choice in the matter. We're going to get Steve on you.
So here's a thing figure that Chris and I were working on. And, he found this, I think, and not too happy with the model, but it was just something we found. And, I think Chris was going to update that guy for me and get a cool. There's not that many cool thing models out there, unfortunately. That head sculpt is just the head, which is really cool. This is nice, but there's no. We need a full scale thing to print. So let me zoom this up here. So let's get this printing, and I'll show the videos of how I painted it. So now that we've got the model finished like this, and let's see. I think that's a good enough, pretty decent size on that Doomsday Machine. So let's see what the scale is. Yeah, so almost 312 hours. So now what we'll do, you just save to disk. So you click here, you do save to disk, and that's going to generate the G code. So I go into my computer and I just save everything in. I organize like this. I save everything in G code. Boom. So if I want to print it again, I can go print it again. So now I just open the folder, and then I can see the G code here. And let's go by date modified. Yep. So now let's just open the G code up, and then Microsoft. I just want to use Notepad, so you can actually use it. Edit G code in Notepad. You don't need a fancy computer to edit the G code. It's generating the G code that you need a slicer for, or a 3D program for. Yep. So this is a pretty big G code, so it's taking a while to upload. So here we go. Let's see.
The chat's lighting up. Yeah, you guys you're a piece of the action.
There we go. Oh, not responding. Come on, Notepad's supposed to respond. All right, so let's see.
Oh, Chris, thank you. He's Chris Donnelly says you're still on the desk camera.
Yeah, well, the desk camera looks a lot better than I'm going to switch to it once I get. Thank you, Chris. Yeah, I'm going to switch to it once I get the G code.
This whole time I thought it was that big of a delay. I was like,
yeah,
can't wait till I see.
I think Notepad crashed on me. Yeah,
it's okay. It's okay.
Here we go. Oh, Notepad not responding. Let me try to let me close that and open it again. Maybe with all the video rendering, it didn't like that. Let's see. Close the program. We'll might just be fun to show everyone the G code. Yep. Well, it's 33. What happened? It's 33 megabytes of G code. Let me just show something small.
Okay.
Here we go. So I'll switch cameras now. That's what happens. It's a huge file. So let me switch back to the other camera here. So here we go. So here's the G-code file. So what this is just showing you the setting up the axes here, and it's just telling how moving the extruder. So it's just telling the Z, and then F is the feed rate. So it's just putting in coordinates. So as you're making the part, G1 is extruding, and it's just telling the machine where to squirt out plastic, basically. So you've got this, file, all these numbers. It translates into all the positions of the machine. So you can see how that's just a simple little thing. So how long that is. So the other part was 33 megabytes. So that's probably why it choked on it.
Well,
So now
that's a typical thing in machining or in any type of making of this nature. I mean, how many times in your life have you heard one of your bosses walk over to you and say, "How long?"
Yep.
Isn't that the only thing that anyone ever says to you all day long?
Yep.
How long?
Right. So here we've got, I'm connected to my my computer at work, actually, which has a 3D printer connected to it, and it's I'm using Octoprint, which is actually the technique is it's a little box that basically a really small computer that's $70 to $100, and it's actually open source machine running Linux, and you interface to the 3D printer. So if you get into 3D printers, I would highly recommend doing Octoprint. I'll put another video link to a video of the person that did how to set it up. So basically, I can I can control the printer. This printer's half hour away from me right now at work, and I can just tell it, let's move the Z-axis up a little bit, and I've got a web camera connected to it, so I'm actually controlling the machine
all
remotely.
This time I thought you were a geek. You're not a geek. You're a nerd. And not only are you a nerd, you're a bigger nerd than me. You're a giant nerd. I love you so much.
So thank you. So what you're doing here, you're just controlling, you're controlling the machine, and you're seeing what's happening. So if I'm home, I'm watching the print to make sure nothing's going wrong, and there's safety features, so it will shut down the machine if something goes wrong. But, I have fire alarm here, and always should never print unattended, just as a warning. So, or in a safe area, or have something to monitor. And they actually sell systems now where you can actually shut down the printer, and there's also automatic fire extinguishers they have, because unfortunately some people have burned their houses down because there's a failure in the machine.
Wow.
And some of these machines aren't made in the USA, and they maybe don't have all the safety standards, or there's a manufacturer. These machines
so like
are made
at
on
one
the
of my
cheap.
restaurants, you would need to put in a suppression system, and then the suppression system would respond to whatever materials were burning or could potentially burn. That's really cool. I did not know that.
Yeah, so there's a couple of companies that came out with items that you can put on, like there's like a ball it's just a very cheap suppression system, but if you hang it above the machine, and God forbid the machine catches fire and you're not there, it'll melt the outer ball, and then drop all the fire extinguishing
Powder
material. Your machine will be trashed, but at that point, who cares? You want to save your house.
Save all the exactly.
Yep. So now what we're going to do is we're going to upload that 3D slice that we just did. So we're going to go to documents here and grab, so we're going to go to my 3D printer folder, and we're going to grab the G-code folder, and then this is the revised Doomsday Machine. We're going to open this guy up. So it's actually sending this file. It's connected to my computer at work, so we're doing this all remotely. So it just uploaded that file, and then
so cool.
So we're going to tell it to upload to the machine right now. So let's see, where is that? I'm going to scroll down the list here. So you can save things on the printer to reprint. So for example, the surgical mask straps, we were printing a ton of those to have for your mask. So that was
cool.
Yep. So let's see here. Where's that file? Oh, here we go. Provide. So we're going to open that up. So we click to load it. So now it's loaded here in the machine, and it's going to tell me, it's going to estimate how much print time it is. I'm going to tell it to preheat. I'll say preheat right now. So now the temperature of the printer is going up. it's going to hit 200 Celsius on the tool, and the bed we usually put it at 60 Celsius. So I'm not good at metric conversion. With 200 C is probably what's that in Fahrenheit for guys in the chat? Let's see.
I don't know, but I love that you speak in Celsius because at least I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
Fahrenheit,
Let me translate
understand.
that. Yeah, so 200
The
C.
U.S. is the last country in the world that has Fahrenheit. I don't understand.
We're a pain. I like the metric system a lot better. Engineering school, everything was a lot easier in metric. So it's 392 Fahrenheit. Yep.
Yeah.
So, so now what you can also do, which is really awesome with Octoprint, you've got not only just your webcam and moving it, you can see the terminal. You can see what G code is being sent to the machine. So we can say suppress temperature messages for now. We don't want to see the temperature, and then it'll shut those off. So then we'll actually see the G code. You can actually do a time lapse of printing the objects.
Yeah.
And you can actually view this G code's too big to view, so I'm not going to do it. But you can say
because there'd be a huge delay while it loaded it to present it, right?
Yep. Correct. Yep. And then you can actually show a video of it printing. So I'll load a time lapse too. So now I think, let's see if we're at temperature. So it's showing your temperature graph. So we're at 260. So let's go. I'm going to make, and we just say print. So you click print. And then now there's the printer's going. I'm going to zoom in on that. And what it's going to do, it's going to print one line just to purge the nozzle. And it's going to go back and print one line. And then it should start printing. While we're doing that, I'll switch to the video of how I painted the machine, and we can check back in and see how it's doing.
So the Easy Bake Oven has been engaged, folks.
Engage, yep. So now, Murphy's Law, but yeah, fingers crossed. So it's doing that first. It's working. It's doing that first layer. So it's going through, and it's just going to do one layer at a time. And it's going to take, if I zoom back out here, it's saying it should take 11 and a half hours to print. Wow. So Octoprint is, even if you don't, have to print remotely, you've got that extra level of control on the printer. And I have a really cheap monoprice printer. That was my first printer to get into 3D printing. I got it, I think, for $100 or $150. And then by adding this control to it, you've added, because it had like a little dial, and it's much, the newer machines have better interfaces, but this just makes it so much easier. So I'll also put that in. So looks like that Doomsday Machine is printing, which is cool. So why don't I'll show you. As that's going, I'm going to grab the time lapse that I had of that, and then some of the videos I did of painting it. So let's see if I can. I had that in the folder here. Let me grab that. I don't know if there's anything in the chat that we're missing. Maybe we could check. Yep. Let's see here. So it's really nice. You can do a time lapse. It'll take a picture every few seconds, and then it'll show you, play that back for you, and you can see how it prints, each step. Let's go and
wow.
Let's see here.
So cool.
Let's see if this is it. Yep. There we go. Yep. So let me pull this over to that screen over there. So there's actually a better, there's a really cool add-on to Octoprint where what it'll do, it'll move the machine head out of the way, take a shot, so the video doesn't jump like this. But otherwise, if you don't, this print was so long, I didn't want to do that because it.
Chris Donnelly's leaving. Chris, thank you so much for coming, and thank you so much for sharing your talent with us. And if you feel like it, please give Mark permission to share your work, or a place where we can go and connect with you and look at your work. And you are so talented. Thank you so much for being with us today. I enjoyed your company and your knowledge and just everything you brought to the stream. Thank you.
Thanks, Chris. Yep. Catch you soon. Yep. He's one of my good friends, so I really appreciate him popping into the chat here. Yep. So here we can see, it's kind of hopping around on us as you look, but you can get the idea of how.
Oh no, I totally get the idea.
How
I think it's really cool.
So it does one layer at a time, and it's it's going through and just it's additive process. So it just keeps going one step at a time. And so that's that. Those are the supports there, which you can see
Mm-hmm.
on the printer. And then now I'm just going to jump, go through a little bit faster. We can see that guy going
No,
up and
no,
up.
thank you. You rocked the Casbah. You were wonderful, and I hope that I will meet with you again. And anytime you want to share any of your artwork, or anything like that, just let us know, because we can always do a stream on that. Just you're so talented, and your willingness to share your art is just super cool. I just absolutely love it. So take care, and have a good week.
So here we go. We're almost at the end
Yeah,
of
time lapse. Look at that, hey? So
yeah.
rapid.
Yeah, so it's going through, and then yep, all the way to the end. Yep. So that's really
That's
cool that
just great.
it'll that's a great feature of Octoprint. That's time lapse. So if you're wondering how to do that, you configure the time lapse, and then it saves the time lapse for each part that you've done.
Wow.
So here we go. Here's the printing. So it looks like she's coming out okay so far. Knock on wood. So let me go. I'm going to show a couple of videos that I did. Let's see here. Let's grab a painting. So I think someone in the chat had mentioned, how do you finish the part? So yeah, you've got the part, then you need someone to paint it or finish it. So let me grab. Let me go into here. I'm going to pull this over. So I'll show some of the pictures. So here's that larger 3D print. So this was as it was finished. That's the finished version.
Mm-hmm.
And then here's the painted version. Like I said, I did a little Photoshop and took the stand out to make it look cool. So that's the finished version paint. There's with the stand in there. So there's that cheat there. Here's and I have a video of actually painting. All you really need to do is prime it with any kind of spray paint that's that says on the can that's good for plastic. So I just did a primer on that, and then this was a picture. I just started doing some colors and layers on the print. I just used spray can since it was a bigger project. We could also use an airbrush as well to do that. But I had a bunch of different colors, so I'll just spray paint it. It's much easier to switch colors, and there's primer on the front, and then there's the different steps of painting. And as you go through, and I think I had it looking pretty nice there, and then I kind of messed it up. That kind
I
of
don't
came
think
out good.
so.
Well,
I think
no,
it's
but then
beautiful.
after I hit it with some, and then that's just the perfectionist in me. But so that, and then I did dry brushing. There's a video on that. So dry brushing brings out all those ridges in the machine, or the Doomsday Machine. So what you do with the dry brush technique, you put paint and you let it dry a little bit so it doesn't go into all the nooks and crannies. Then here's that's a picture some artist did of the Doomsday Machine, and then here's the scale.
I'm on delay. I'm coming.
Yeah,
Just
sorry,
waiting.
yeah, I might go through too quick. Yeah, I'll leave this picture up. So this is a picture of the scale of the Enterprise. So yeah, I can see what you're looking at. Yeah, so this is the so just showing the different layers and how it was.
Doesn't it look awesome, Yaworski pool practice? It does look awesome. It's just so cool that he made this.
Thank you. So
I wish all Trekkies knew about this, and you just charged a mint and sold a whole whack of them.
Yeah.
So will there always be a delay with OBS Ninja?
I think there is, unless there's a way to. That's where you go to YouTube and the great computer in the sky to figure out how to share your video instantly. Because I'm streaming out to YouTube, and we've got the audio working, but I don't know if there's a way. Maybe there's a way to share my screen into that. That's probably so that in that OBS Ninja add-on that I'm using to get. I was
Yeah.
happy I actually got it to work and
Yes.
got you in here. But I think maybe there's a way to show my. I'm not gonna mess with anything now, but I think there's maybe when we get off, we'll spend 1 minute, and I'll see if I can share my screen with you that way.
Steve
That might.
Mitchum, what normies see when they look at the Doomsday Machine at this scale is they see a fleshlight. That's what they
Yeah.
see. They have no idea, and they think it's a fleshlight, and they think we're insane.
Yeah. So here's the as you and Clobby cover Enterprise down the road. Here's the Zindi Aquatic Cruise, which I thought was so cool, and that was such a cool race of beings in that show that we haven't seen since in Star Trek. But that was a wild idea, and that was so that ship was massive. I think they pulled the NX-01 into it, kind of like the Doomsday Machine.
Mm-hmm.
And then here we've got the Viserys, which was in that fantastic first season episode with everyone remembers with the puppet, which looks like a crazy scary monster, but it turns out to be, spoiler alert, to be a puppet, and that's Clint Howard. That was
Yes.
yep, in that episode. And then here we've got, of course, the Enterprise, the original Enterprise with so you can see the scale of how big that.
I'm just mesmerized by the scaling.
Yeah. And then this is Dominion Dreadnought for everyone who's not watching Babylon 5 on the remaster, should be now.
I'm almost there.
Yeah, I've got to start.
Like I have to, yes, but I just have some things to finish first.
Yeah.
I have to finish Farscape, but I'm weird like that, like I have to watch things in a linear fashion. I can't jump all over the place.
Yeah.
So I'm just finishing up Farscape now. And and I'm a Babylon 5 virgin. So for the last I don't know, like maybe 3 or 4 months, I've had it planned to watch it. So I'm incredibly excited to watch it. And Clobby sent me a list of preferred order in which to imbibe the IP. So I'm going to follow that, and I'm super excited. But I actually have to purchase it a la carte through Apple. There's no other way for me to get it.
You can't get HBO Max.
No, we just don't have it.
Canada.
Yeah.
Well, that's not good. Or costs you a lot more money. Yeah.
Jaworski Pool Practice says, I am an unabashed Enterprise fan. Yeah, they know that about you, husband. I told them all. And Clobby loves that you love Enterprise.
So here I'm just priming the, it's a simple step, just priming. But if you don't do the right prep work, the paint's not gonna stick. So I've got a couple more videos to show. So just going through with the prime that machine up. And nice. The next video, I think I started doing some of the colors. So I think I started with black there. And it was just a simple, you just trial and error just for fun. I know you're on delay, but it'll catch up to seeing the black
at home
sprayed on. Yeah.
Everybody, it's like 10 seconds after it happens. I'm like, ooh, ah. I'm not a dingbat. If you're just joining us, it's because we're using OBS Ninja and I'm on delay.
Yeah.
I'm not delayed. It's delayed.
The video, yeah, Raquel's seeing the video and delay, yep. So now you should just be starting to see the black black going on, yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna fast forward. You're not seeing this fast forward yet. So and I put some purple in, and I went with different colors just to kind of get a cool look. So the first was doing black, just to get that base in. And then I think I'm spraying some purple here. I don't know why, but I thought purple would be kind of cool to get. Purple Valkyrie was watching; she'd approve. I'm sure the purple.
Of course, she would put a purple heart in the chat. PV, Lady PV. Of course, she would love purple.
So that's as we get to the end. Let's get to the next one here. So after I did the black, I went in with some gray. And the idea was to try to get, gray highlights into the Doomsday Machine and not have it completely covered in gray, but just trying to work through that. And I actually took some silver, spray
You
paint
did
that I
such a
had.
good job.
Thank you.
I can't even believe it. And you just totally eyeballed it, and you did a wonderful job.
Thank you. Yep. So I did, yeah. So we've got some silver going and gray, and I just had a bunch of different colors, base colors, and just went through and just kept layering it to try to get a cool kind of effect. So you had,
Well, it
if you just
worked
have a,
perfectly.
so
Because it makes it look like a living entity when there are so many layers of color, because it makes it look as though it were the flesh of the entity. So, I don't think you could have achieved that without the work that you put in, and I think it's marvelous.
Thank you, and a shout out to Chris again too. He gave me some ideas. He told me when you're painting something, you paint black as a base, then you work on top of that. So like if you're going to paint something chrome, you always want to have black as a base to work with. So I painted some chrome to give some shine, and then I knew it was going to get covered up, but then some of that'll kind of seep through, and you got all these
Yeah.
different layers. So
Yeah.
as you go through, I'm going to just keep fast forwarding because.
It's
And then
so
here's the
good.
purple. Here's the purple going on. You'll see in a few. Everyone will see in a few seconds with the purple going on, and then some more black, and then gray and black, and then some silver. I kept. It's one of those things you kind of keep looking at, like
Maybe it needs a little more of this.
this, more of this, like you're baking a cake, which you shouldn't do when you're
No, it's
baking
your
a cake.
bolognese sauce.
Yeah, that'll work better. Yeah, and then sometimes you're like, oh, I think I have it perfect. I shouldn't do any more, and then well, maybe a little bit, and then you kind of think you mess it up, and then you
Nah,
keep going, you keep
this
going
is
back and
great.
forth. But
I see what you mean about the purple, though. I know I'm on delay here, but when you're mixing the purple with the gray and then the chrome, yeah, it really, really starts to come through. Because of course, that yawning mouth, that destructive mouth, it has all of those colors inside of it. I mean, it's
yep.
death, right? And so, yeah, I definitely see what you were going for there, and it works perfectly.
So once this video is finished, I think then I have a couple more to show that are the different. So then I was painting the front of the Doomsday Machine, which I know. Oh, that one was too short here. This is the one here. Yep. There we go. So I was trying to paint the front. Now this I really should have broken out the airbrush for more detail, but I was feeling lucky, as Clint Eastwood would say. Would you
Are
feel
you
lucky?
feeling
So
lucky, punk?
because the aim is not the best on a spray can, something detailed like that. But I just wanted to get the red background in the maw or the mouth there, and then I went with some gray around the edge again to bring back the edge of the machine, and then just said, let me spray some yellow in the middle. So as as the video catches up, you'll see the yellow coming in. So first here, you guys are seeing the red going on.
Ah, yes.
Yep. So then I went with the yellow, and then I kind of oversprayed the yellow, like, oh, I did too much yellow. Then I go back with the red, and then kind of working back and forth. And
yeah, but you make it seem like you made a mistake, but I think that was just all your artistic impression. Like you had to work to get it the way you wanted. Do you know what I mean?
Yep. No, yeah, that's right. Yeah, but as you
like
work,
it. You made it sort of blood orange. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it works. Go back and watch the episode. You'll see I'm right.
Yeah. And then I went with some black around the edges again to kind of, because you want the machine to, have a little burnt. And then I hit the inside. I was like, oh, crud, I hit the inside and I got to go back. It's all fun. It's fun. So it's.
You're just fine tuning it.
Yeah.
And so much light comes out of the machine. Like so much light comes out of the creature.
Yep. So it's, and the new remaster is just so cool the way they did that. So the other thing you could do too, if you want to get real fancy with this model, you could probably, print it or drill it so you could have an LED light on the inside. I don't know if anyone has ever made. I'm sure someone has made one that lights up. But
that's crazy.
So I think you could with LEDs. They're so amazing. So you could do something like that. So
it's such a good job.
Thanks. And
then here's so good.
This is the most important step, I think, is doing the dry brushing.
Okay.
So what you because you've got that nice paint job, but it doesn't have any kind of details on the edges or the ridges, which you kind of see in the episode. So
Okay.
what you do, you basically take some paint and you spray it onto some cardboard or a piece of metal, and you just let it dry a little bit. So you don't want all that paint to go into the edges or fill in any details. You just want that paint to kind of stick to the parts that are protruding outward. So, and I should have been wearing gloves here, but it's all right. But you can see how it's picking up just the highlights in white and gray.
Are
Like
you
a
the
little
safety
upper.
officer at your shop?
Yeah, well, just because it's you're making a mess on your hands, but like at
I
this
know,
point,
but
I'm
just
like,
to hear you go,
yeah.
all right, folks at home.
That's the only time
If
I've
you're
ever
doing
yelled at
this.
someone was when they did something really stupid and almost got hurt and crushed
Yeah.
themselves. And I like, I've never seen you yell like that before. I'm like, yeah, well, I don't want you to do that again because you just almost died. It's like,
Yeah.
okay.
Don't die on my shift or ever. Just
Too
stop
much
that.
paperwork. Plus, I like you.
Yes, exactly. So I don't want to put you on the spot, but I have had friends who were makers who decided to start selling their stuff. And I think you should really think about that. I think you should think about an amount that you believe would be fair to
Yeah.
pay for an item like this. And I think you should definitely consider it. I think this is beautiful work. I think that a lot of people would be interested in it. And I think you should think about that.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, it's a good idea. Yeah, I've got to figure out what happens with the, I don't know, on the licensing of this model. I might have to draw my own. But yeah, I appreciate that. And yeah, that's something that, it's always fun to do something like this and get paid too. I think Nick Weiser, a few weeks ago, he someone wanted to tip him, and I told him, I said, well, don't leave any money on the table. Why don't you do stream yards? And he set it up and got some tips that night. So
Yeah.
Nick, if you're out there, yeah, that's true. Or Clobberin Times, yeah. If someone wants to donate something to you, he's great. He never asks for anything, but we like you so much. That's why we want to give back, and that's why I love printing this for Raquel, and enjoy that Saturday night show so much. So don't mind.
Well, that's incredibly kind of you, and it's more than a generous offer. I wish I could pay you.
No.
You have to assign a value to this, and I know that that you're basically just just starting this, but I think you really have something very special here. I think Doomcock would take his helmet off for this.
Oh, thank you. That's great to hear. Appreciate
and
that.
I can't wait to show this to him because I'm definitely going to shout it out on the next Friday night frolics, because this is just, wait until he gets a load of this. And he just absolutely loves makers. He loves cosplayers and makers, and people send him the wildest stuff, but you really do need to sit down with yourself and sort of say to yourself, how many hours did I put in? What's a reasonable amount that I would accept for this? And then, you should charge people up the butt for it and just sell lots of them because they're beautiful.
Thank you. Yeah, no, and I really had a lot of fun making this. So yeah, that's a great idea. So and these times you can always use a little bit extra cheddar to pay for those action figures or the differential in our Jeep that went out driving to go visit my daughter.
Yeah.
Last weekend. So yeah,
like how much
that wasn't cheap.
How much would you charge for one of these things?
Oh,
I don't want to put you on the spot.
No, I guess someone buys an action figure, it's $25 these days, or but maybe something like this, maybe can't hold me to it, but maybe like $50, I'm guessing. Because once you paint it too, I know Retroblasting has done some great videos with someone who was doing Battlestar Galactica ships, and I think one of the ships, but it was all painted and completed and sanded and polished, was $300, and it was beautiful work, and there's a lot. So you've got to take into account how much time, I guess, you spend on it. So that's
you do, because your time is worth something. Like
you're spending that time to do it, and it's fun to give back. But then people want to pay you for what you've done. That's even that's even better. But let me grab my Star Trek figures. You might lose me on the mic for a second here, but hope you can still hear me. I'm gonna grab the Lego figures that I did. Pull these guys out.
Yeah, from your office. Are you
Yep.
gonna pull up the Lego guys?
The Lego guys, yep.
They're great.
Gotta get those guys here on camera. So this is another models that I found on Thingiverse. So you guys can find these models on Thingiverse. Let's see. Hopefully they'll all stand up here. And this is a really fun 3D print. And I think these guys came out pretty cool. So let's switch the camera over to the other side here. So let me move the camera so if everyone can see. Here's the gang. So we got Spock, Scotty, McCoy, and Kirk. And actually, someone posted accessories that you could print with them, which is really cool. So I've got to print. Scotty's got a wrench, Spock has a tricorder, and McCoy's got his little medical scanner, and Kirk I think has a phaser. But someone actually took the time, which is great, to make those extra figures. And shout out to my buddy Chris. He painted Kirk's head for me, so he's got the red hair color and the emblems. So the emblems weren't printed in gold, so Chris painted those, and then just did the different color paints. Filaments for the shirts. I found the filament I thought was pretty close to that color there.
So good.
So those guys were super fun.
I really like how the uniforms are too small, exactly like they were in season 1 and season 2 before they switched to polyester. So it's like it's the actual shrunken velour suits. So I just love it. I just love these little guys. I'm not even a fan of Lego, and I love these little guys.
Yeah, those are they were. I saw those on Thingiverse. Well, I got to print these. That's I got to forget using this for work, right, or for something that's 3D.
Yeah.
And then here's the this is everyone's been calling this the Enterprise phone incident. So we'll just show this. We'll just hold the phone up again. So this was the phone that Raquel went crazy over in Brightest. I don't know if he's still watching, but he did a great stream. Cutting that down to all the reaction shots. Did
he really? I did not know about this.
Yeah, so he shortened it down. So he called it the Raquel Cut. So
nerdgasm.
So
I'm just freaking out.
Yeah, so that's a great cool Enterprise phone. So,
I've not seen this. Please play this. Yeah, although I'm probably gonna hide under the table. I'm gonna be so embarrassed. Look at that beauty!
Yeah, so here I'll call the. We're having fun tonight, so let me call my while we're watching that print, and I think we'll just go for a few more minutes. But let me call my home. Oh no, I better not call the home phone because the wife will say who's calling. Now it's late here. I better not do that. But it's basically the red alert sign. Yeah, then I'll be in big trouble.
Pool practice says they're great, but Spider-Man in the background shaking around is hilarious.
Yeah, Spidey's keeping watch there. Yeah. So yeah, it's one of those fun solar powered Spidey never gives up. And I don't know if Pat S is still out in the chat, but he mentioned in another stream tonight that this was one of his favorite characters. So here's John Belushi from Saturday Night Live as a Samurai Baker. So I had done a stream before on Pop Culture Archivists with Jed and the boys over on Sunday and Mother's Day, and showed. It's called Toys from the Attic, and I pulling out all my toys. I don't know what exactly is in some of the boxes, so I found the empty box, but he's on my shelf, so I couldn't reach him on the top shelf there, but I put him on the desk. And this is something you're gonna really like that I found in my. I didn't even know I had it anymore. So in a few seconds, we'll see what you think about this one as the stream catches up to you. Let's see if this might be one of your favorite things in Star Trek, I'm guessing. Yep. So of course we'll fix this on the next stream hopefully, but I don't know, can you see what's on the screen yet, or You're still on the delay. You're still on the delay.
Oh my god! Oh, that's great.
There's the reaction I was
the
looking
fuchsia
for.
pink. It's just, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So now look at the chair.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Whom gods destroy.
Yeah. And
You have the band Whom Gods Destroy. You have the band episode Andorian with the chair. Oh my god. Where the hell did you get sorry,
my
where
attic.
the heck did you get that?
In my attic. I don't remember where I got this. I forgot I had this figure. So that's why I'm going through and pulling all the boxes out, because I don't have, room to display everything that I have. And I'm sure there's a lot of collectors out there, like, so this was, they had, I don't remember when I got this, but it was Trelane was in this series, and I guess they've got Koenig and Keiko O'Brien, and that's Kira there, I think, too. But I couldn't believe.
Can we put Keiko in the chair?
That's not nice, Raquel.
I'm sorry.
No, it's just to make her feel better, though. The actual once they so here's the. Yes, I was looking at Mike. I would think we were in Clobberin Times. I think we were chatting one night. I'm like, look what I found, and then
that's
like,
gorgeous.
Well, what's that chair in there? It's got the ultrasonic neutralizer.
Yeah,
and then it has the and of course it's got the description here, so it's got the as it catches up to you, but it's got Garth of Izar. So if anyone who's a fan of Axanar, which it's a shame they weren't able to do a full movie or use that IP, because it almost reminds me of the Clone Wars, when they, Obi-Wan just has that throwaway line. And this episode, kind of explains a little bit about that fight at Axanar and how Garth was, the prototype starship captain, as Kirk says. And it's really would be a great, time period to explore further. But unfortunately, CBS didn't. I can see why, I guess, but, they got so much money donated to them. But people are starving to, hear or see a story like that. So
yeah,
so
I
Garth,
can't believe that you have this Andorian. I've never even seen it on sale before.
Yeah, so I got to check on eBay to see if it's.
You need to price that out.
I don't know if if that's a common a common series, Warp Factor.
I've never seen one. I've never seen one. He does have muscular legs instead of the tartan pants.
Yeah,
but with the chair and the fact that it's licensed, you got to price that out. And if that's been sitting in your attic, get that off to auction.
Yeah, or
you got to do that.
That's good. What I got to do is rotate some of the figures so they're some of them are out on the wall and get to enjoy them. Or as Mike says,
you can't let the fuchsia. It should be like the very, very clean. So we must make sure that we dust the Andorian.
Yeah, that's I think my phone, enterprise phone, is dusted and cleaned.
Do you remember when I first met your beautiful phone and it had dust on it? I was like, "How dare you!"
Get that cleaned up. Yep. So
that should be on the coffee table.
and the thing that was horrible was I had it back in my desk, so I couldn't even see it. So it was back behind the desk, and it was I have a level on my desk. So after you chewed me out properly, I made a spot on my desk, and it's dusted, so I can see the phone when someone calls.
You should. I mean, it's absolutely gorgeous.
No, it's really,
and no one has this stuff. I mean, your office is a marvel. It's a marvel. I absolutely love your office. I have a great uncle who is a Freemason and a Shriner, and he's a luthier. And he has worked in the oil and gas industry. He's repaired violins for the orchestra. Absolutely the most interesting and wonderful person. And he's an in-law. So he's an uncle through my in-laws.
Yep.
And I just absolutely adore him. He's my Uncle Andy, and I love him with all my heart. And I think that is the only other office I've been in other than yours where I could just sit in there all day looking at all the stuff he made or collected. I mean, he you see everything from like an antique violin, that's like 100 150 years old, and then then you see a jackalope or something,
Okay,
like an actual jackalope, and but not actual, just somebody who did it through taxidermy. And so you just see all these wonderful things, and I could literally spend probably a week just looking at stuff in his office. You have the same office, only it's all my nerd stuff.
Nerd stuff, yeah.
Yeah, it's just great.
So shout out to Brightest Day. I'll put this in the cut again. We'll skim through it, but he's got your reactions here. So I don't know if if I turn the audio on, if that'll play through my. So
I'm gonna crawl under the table now.
Yeah. I think if we go to, well, we're showing the Sears catalog. Brightest Day did an awesome job of and then we're talking about her. Yep. So let's see. And you can actually buy new Migos now too, which they're coming out with. And that's going to be one of the next videos is Migos and all those figures. So here's all the Battlestar Galactica guys, and then we'll just go to the where we go to the phone when you see the phone. Let's see, where's the phone? Yeah, here's the. Oh, let me switch to. Oh, I didn't switch the. Let's switch the screen here. Yep, there we go.
I know I'm going to be embarrassed, but it was my organic response. What can I say?
Yeah.
Oh no. Oh, I have to mute you so that I can hear it on the other side.
That's a good spot to. But I love that. We love that reaction. So nothing to be ashamed of. So that was awesome. And thanks again to Brightest Day for doing that. And it looks like Jaworski pool practice has called it a night. But he said if you play pool at all, please check out my channel. And if you enjoy my content, subscribe, like, and hit the button or the bell. So we've got to get.
Yeah, and all you CNC guys should get together and do some cool stuff.
That'd be a lot of fun. Yep. Oh, Jed was saying couldn't hear anything. I guess could you? I don't know if you could.
No, I couldn't hear anything.
Yeah,
I couldn't hear anything on my side, but I will tell you, I was very pleased to see that wonderful feather duster on the gloriousness that is the Enterprise.
Yeah. So I don't know why YouTube wasn't going showing through, but I just got a few giggles, I guess. Yep.
Oh, that's okay. That's okay.
Yeah, just got a few laughs. Yeah. Let's see.
I had no idea that that my nerdgasm was recorded.
Yep.
Anyways, it was just a heck of a lot of fun, and I just absolutely love your office, and I think that you are the most wonderful geek. And now I also know you're a nerd. Haha, you're a nerd like
you got me on both counts. Yep.
You're both. Yeah. I just love your office, and I think your collection is just magnificent.
Yep.
So much fun. And I like the way that you have it displayed. But if you ever let your Star Trek stuff get dusty again, I'm going to come down there. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
You're in big trouble. Yep.
You're in big trouble, mister.
Do you have a dust police costume?
Yes, I do. I will.
You got the grammar police. Yeah.
I will come down there in a French maid outfit with like a feather duster on an extended pole, you know, the telescopic handle. Funny.
So here's the, I think we'll probably end the stream in a few minutes, but here's the 3D print still going. So it's getting ready to destroy the universe, and hopefully everyone can hear us. So Jed said, I think Jed, maybe because I switched to that YouTube, maybe it messed up, but hopefully you can hear us now. It's I think we had it working. So
oh wow, Steve Mitchum's asking for Fizbin.
What are the odds of getting a Royal Fizbin? Those are one in a trillion, right? Well, who can recite those lines for me? Yeah, the Royal Fizbin. Well, let me see your cards here. And
everyone, if you're at home and you're just tuning into this, or you're watching it on a rewatch, and this interests you and you really like it, and you would like to see Mark make some other things, like maybe a Horta or something of that nature, please make sure that you leave a comment on this video. And you can also follow Mark D with a C on Twitter. And if this is something that, interests you, or you would like to have it, please don't be afraid to approach him, to commission him to make one. I mean, he works full time, but this is a labor of love for him, and he is quite an artist. And this is an absolutely beautiful thing that he's doing. He's making things that there's no possible way we could ever get these things unless he was making them. So, just so great. And don't be afraid to reach out to Mark D with a C and commission him to make one of these for you. And please don't be afraid to share this stream. An artist like this, we really should support people like Mark D with a C, and they're just a wonderful part of our community. So if you haven't subbed, please do. Please also hit your notification bell so you know when he's coming online, and you can learn about these things. And you don't have to be technical. You don't have to be a nerd. You don't have to know G code. You don't have to know any of that stuff. You can just be a lover of someone who makes beautiful things. So that said, I want to thank everybody who came here tonight and shared their time and their comments with us. You guys were terrific company. Thank you for putting up with the ultra nerdy stuff that we put up. But I think it's also really super cool that you all got to see how something like this can get made, and a custom thing and a wonderful thing. And so, thank you to the chat. And I also want to thank Mark D with a C. Mark, thank you so much for having me on your show. I enjoyed your company immensely. I think you have a giant, awesome brain, and you're so talented. And thank you for making me a Doomsday Machine. I can never thank you enough. And I hope you are richly rewarded. I hope everyone shares this stream, and I hope it turns into something that maybe could be a side project for you, because I know that there are lots of Trekkies out there who would love to have this.
That's great to hear. And I didn't pay you to say it. No, I shouldn't say that, but I know that's from the heart, and I'm always making jokes, but it's really heartfelt, and really appreciate you saying all those kind words, and really glad to have met all the, this great community we have, and count a lot of people friends, even though we've never met in person. Someday, hopefully we will. But it's great to be able to connect with people through the magic of the internet. I mean, this is amazing. It's Star Trek type technology to be able to, I'm connecting to a remote machine miles away, printing something that you're in. Far away from me physically, and we're chatting over the computer, sharing a stream through YouTube that people can watch, and it's basically like having your own TV channel. So it's just amazing technology. And
You know, you were always such an important part of Saturday Night Star Trek. You still are. I love that you love doing research, and I love that you look for in-text citation and you look for the reliability of sources and so on and so forth. And I just love communicating with you on Star Trek. You know, the 735 Club, that being 1966 to 2005, which is the only Star Trek, and all else is trash.
yep,
However, I will say this. I am so happy that I did the Global Geek Gang and that Clobby asked me to be a part of that, because had you not shared your office that day, I don't think that you and I would have become friends, and I would have missed out on knowing a special person like you. Yeah, just a great, like, totally cool nerd and geek to know. So I'm so happy you decided to turn on your camera and
yep.
just show all that cool stuff that day. And I'm just so grateful to Clobby. You know, Clobby's introduced so many wonderful people to me. Through him, I have met such wonderful people, true Trekkies, and really, really great people. And Mark, you're one of them.
Thank you, thank you. And the same feeling here too. You know, watching that channel, I think I found Clobberin Times first because I kept seeing, you know, as growing up, love it. And I've said this before. The Thing is my favorite character, and I kept seeing this person who was liking all the same things I liked on Twitter and had a thing icon. I said, "Oh, this guy's got to be cool, right?" And then I don't know how I found the stream on YouTube, but when the vid hit, as I call it, I started watching a lot more YouTube than regular TV, and
Normally.
normally would. And you know, the algorithm, I guess it does work sometimes, so I was able to find his channel. And then and I think I remember watching the Enterprise show that you two had done. And I was so happy you highlighted a few of my comments. I'm like, oh, this is so cool, this is so interactive, being able to, you know, be in a group. And you know, we miss going to conventions or, you know, meeting people in
Yeah.
person. So it's a fun, you know, it's a great way to hang out and have fun and you know, meet friends that you know, before we'd have a convention, maybe you could meet people. Like I said, you're you know, you're among your people. And then Jed had me on. It was chatting, and then Chatty's like, hey Mark D with the C, why don't you come on? So, you know, shout out to Jed for inviting me on. And I've been thinking of doing a channel, or maybe just going on or doing some of these videos with some of my collection. I was kind of worried about doing it, or should I really do it? And then Jed asked me that day. I said, all right, I had the microphone for doing Zoom. I had the webcam. Why not give it a shot? So, you know,
Yeah.
shout out to Jed. And I think Steve Mitchum said he was the first sub, which is much
I
appreciated.
love Steve Mitchum.
Yep. So he's been a great guy Maddie's daddy, been a great guy to meet. And, you know, just real appreciative. And, you know, this is all doing this for, you know, for fun and to share what you like and you love. And I'm like, that day I wasn't sure if people would want to see my office. So
Oh
I'm
my
like,
goodness, you were so wrong.
yeah,
That was just, I know for a fact that there were people at home who thought all the same things I did. And I think that's why that stream was so popular, is because
yeah,
people absolutely love that. You know, I will say, as a communications and technology scholar, that um, I love what streaming is doing for communications in these types of situations. I can't believe that rather than having this sort of behind the keyboard sort of strange and depersonalized experience that was Web 1.0 and Web 2.0 largely. It was very disconnected. You would know people online, and they were quote unquote your friends, but not really.
yep,
And it's so funny how um, Clobby, who knows all these people in real life because he had this comic book shop, and he, you know, has basically become like the greatest geek librarian of all, how he managed to bring us all together. And then this, like you were saying earlier, this technology facilitated actual friendships. So
yep,
not like just these avatars where you wonder if that person really is that person, or you know, who and what they really are. This changed the landscape for me, and it helped me to make real friends. I consider you my real friend, and I most certainly can consider Clobby my real friend. I love that man to pieces. I've known him now for just over a year, and he reached out to me and said, "Hey, let's just do a stream together." And I didn't know him, so I wasn't sure. But then I started seeing him saying all these wonderful things, and I realized, oh my goodness, this guy is an actual expert.
Yep.
And then I went on his show and I realized that I just absolutely adore him. I love spending time with him. We need to do ClobbyCon. We
Yeah.
must. We seriously have to do ClobbyCon. We have to go down there and I'm going to eat my own body weight in Cajun food.
Right.
Let's
But
just
yeah,
do it.
you're 100% right though. I mean, Mike, Clobberin Times, yeah, we chat sometimes with Jed and the pop culture archivist gang, and we're just hanging out. And sometimes I'm like, maybe people would want to hear this. Let's turn on the we shouldn't, but I'm just joking, turn on the mic. But it's just so entertaining to hang out with everyone in that gang and have a great time. And you made some actual friends and people that you really want to meet meet in
Yeah.
person someday. And that's
I would have had to travel to the United States and spend $2,000 or $3,000 on a convention to meet you, and I probably would have met your wife and
Yep.
your kids, and we all probably would have went out for dinner, and we would have laughed, and our families would have rolled their eyes as we talked nonsense in front of them.
Yeah, what are you talking about?
Yes, my daughter now says, "Mom, you're so far down the rabbit hole. Nobody even knows what you're saying."
Yeah.
So, which is saying something, he's a Trekkie. So, but, and just so that this whole entire situation facilitated being, replacing the experience of those early cons when they were such sincere experiences and you could meet your fellow geeks and nerds. I think it's very special.
Yeah, and you get to hang out with those people, and it wasn't so commercial, and you didn't have all the, in the beginning, I'm like, oh, this is so fantastic. Comics are, getting to be, so popular, and with Hollywood and and all that, but it kind of wrecked the cons in some ways. Not to be selfish, or I know there's a lot of people that love them, but it changed what they are. They're not the same. So whether you like the change or not, but when I had said before, where you used to go to, wasn't really a convention. It was a stack of cardboard boxes filled with comics and maybe some, guest stars, TV stars or things like that. But it wasn't, this big Hollywood thing. So that's why this YouTube is kind of like one thing I loved about my local comic book shop before it closed down. We made friends with everyone, got to know the people that worked there. You can see why people like Gary, the local shop that I went to, we all considered the owner a friend, actually, that you could count on, and you'd come in and you'd pick up your comic books, but you'd spend an hour and a half there, just hanging out with all the the locals and all
I would
talking.
100% go into Clobby's shop and I would spend the entire afternoon there. I would want to play canasta or euchre with him. I would probably bring those little donuts. I would
Yep.
probably bring him a hot chocolate, and I would have like a double espresso, and I would literally hang out there like all afternoon. But I don't have that. I can't have that experience where I'm from. So
Yep.
I'm just, yeah, I totally get you. I just totally get you.
Yeah, that's what we miss. And then that store unfortunately closed, and so this is I'm not saying replace it, but that's the vibe I get from meeting all these
I
great
agree.
people. Yeah,
I agree.
just
And the
hanging out.
cons aren't the same, Mark. I agree with
Yeah.
you. I wrote an article. It's a a social science article, so it has some technical jargon in it. But I wrote it for a pop culture magazine, and I put it in digital format in a PDF on my academia.edu, and it's just a little article describing the same impression you had with the conventions, and it's just echoing and amplifying that idea that you walk into a con and there are some people that are there for one reason, and then there are some people there for another reason, and so it's a little bit of a dialogue on that subject. And if you would like to read it, I would absolutely love it if you would give it a read. And it's on my academia.edu account. And if you can't get it there, I can send you the link. But
Yeah, definitely send me that. I think I've got to update the this. I think when I went into OBS, it erased my show notes. I've got to copy them back in again. So it's just got the title there. But I should have all the links when I update that. I'll have all the links to 3D printers, and Raquel's edu link I think is in there too. And so everyone can go check that out. Yep.
Yeah, I would love for you to read that specifically. Don't worry about promoting my stuff,
I
but
know. Yeah, no,
I want you to read
I'll
it
read it. Yep.
specifically because it was your comments. It felt like you were with me that day.
Great. Yeah. Same.
You know what I mean? Like
yep.
you were with me that day
Yep.
that I went to the con, and then I wrote that article for that pop culture magazine. So
Great.
yeah, I'd love it if you would read that. And
Definitely
Steve
will.
Mitchum says, hot chocolate. Have you ever been to Baton Rouge? No, I said hot chocolate because, you know, like Clobby, he's not your typical guy. Like I don't see Clobby chugging coffee, and I'm a huge coffee person. Like I don't see him that way. I also don't see him like he's not somebody who drinks alcohol. He's not one of those guys who's in excess. You know what I'm saying? Like if I were to bring Clobby here for Volcon in Vulcan, Alberta, I would definitely take him out for the bacon, lettuce, tomato, and cheese sandwich at the little deli there, and we'd get a milkshake and we'd laugh and, you know, we'd have a good time. But no, I said hot chocolate because I don't know. He's just not one of those guys. I can never imagine Clobby drunk, and he doesn't drink alcohol.
He's a captain. He can't get drunk.
Yeah, he's a captain. He can never get drunk. Who's going to save the ship? What are you talking about, Steve?
Scotty can drink the green stuff, not the captain.
Exactly. What is this? It's green.
It's green. And then they had that in the TNG episode. And spoiler alert again. Yeah, and that was a great scene with Scotty in that episode. But, well, I think we covered all the great bases, and I thought maybe we'd only go 45 minutes to an hour, but this has been a lot of fun. I hope you don't mind. we went.
Goodness, no. I had so much fun with you, and it was a great honor to be here. And I can't believe that you did this for me. This is incredibly generous, and I hope that it represents some type of a windfall for you. I would absolutely love to see you making these marvelous things from your mind and from an IP we really love. And I mean, you and I share a lot of IPs, so. If you could turn this into something that could help you and your family, and also do something that you love to move your artisanship that much further, I would just be so thrilled. I would be so thrilled for you. Clobby says, I actually do drink coffee. I just don't drink alcohol. Yeah. I love coffee. Nice iced coffee, right?
Yep, that's what I'm drinking now. A decaf iced coffee. Yep.
It's good stuff.
Good stuff. Yeah. I believe Mountain Dew is Clobby's drink of choice, says Steve Mitchum.
Oh, is it?
I don't know if that's true. That's might be a rumor, like that he owned a comic book shop. And then Jed is saying, pop culture, I've drunk people underneath the table before.
Oh no. Yeah, not Clobby. That's not Clobby's speed. As far as Clobby liking Mountain Dew, I will see Clobby's Mountain Dew and raise him a Dr. Pepper.
Oh, there's a chance. I love Dr. Pepper. I think I like Dr. Pepper more than Mountain Dew, but I'm not supposed to have caffeine according to my physician, so I can have decaf Dr. Pepper. I do Dr. Pepper or root beer. That's or actually being a Boy Scout, we had actually made homemade root beer. You cut down roots of I think it was the sassafras tree.
Yeah,
you make it. You make your own. You make your own homemade root beer. Yeah. So
yeah.
That's fun too. Yeah.
Yeah, that's beautiful stuff. And they only recently added caffeine to root beer. Root beer was always safe before, and you could have whatever you wanted. And then that Jolt Cola came out in Canada, and then everybody started putting the caffeine in it, and like energy drink level caffeine. And I from my childhood, I recall that it was as innocuous as 7-Up back in the day.
Yeah, no, you got loaded. Yeah, these energy drinks. Yeah, it's dangerous. Yeah, especially
Clobby,
for
iced coffee? You! My son drinks iced coffee. He likes Arizona sweet tea.
yeah. Well, that's good too. The first time I had that, like, oh, this is so good. How many calories is it? But yeah, sometimes you just have to have a treat. So so. And the other thing I want to say too, we've got to get that phone eventually shipped up to you once these things print. And there's actually going to be a couple of special surprises in that box, and something.
Oh, you should have.
There's something else I 3D printed, but I didn't want to show anyone because I want that to be a surprise for you when you open the box up. But it's something I'm guessing you're going to really like. So
Can we do another show?
yeah. We could do the unboxing show of when you unbox it. Yeah,
I
but
will
there's
actually get dressed up in cosplay, and we will actually do it. I haven't appeared on camera since Orville Nation, but I
Okay.
will actually get dressed up in cosplay, and everyone can see my office again.
Oh,
I haven't had my office on display on the YouTube for a long time, but there is a new person living in my office. A 6'1" or 6'2", fully animatronic alien, and I named him Vare. So, and he's quite remarkable. So I showed him to Clobby, and Clobby just loves them. So I can't wait to engage him while we're on, and I'll show him to you. I'm sure you'll think he's pretty cool.
yeah. I think you had a picture of him on Twitter at one point. Yeah. So
Yeah. Well,
he's
he's my
guarding your
favorite.
room. Yep.
Yeah, he guards my room.
Well, Steve Mitchum is heading out. Steve, we're gonna end the stream in
We
a
are.
couple of minutes, and 1 minute or two anyway. But really appreciate you hanging for all this time, and it was great to see you on Clobby's channel the other night. So hopefully we can get on a show together. That'd be great. Oh, they're mentioning the old ones. Yep. Yeah, we're the old ones. Yep.
We are now the old ones.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for wrenching for us, Steve Mitchum. We just, you're just such a great guy, and we really appreciate you so much. Mwah, mwah.
Steve is awesome. Yep. And say hi to Maddie. Yep. So before we just close out, I'll just say, yeah, there's going to be some surprises in that box. A couple of things I printed. There's a few research materials from Star Trek. I think you might be missing that I found at thrift shops. Books in the States are very cheap, so I won't tell you what they are. But there's, I feel like you and Clobby have done. I appreciate that Saturday night show so much. I was thinking about sending you a gift anyway. So this is a good excuse to throw a couple of things in the box, and I got to get a couple of things.
That is incredibly generous of you.
To Clobby. Yeah, well, it's not the they're not expensive things, but from the heart, or things that a couple of books I found, and they said, "Oh, I don't know if you have them, but I want to surprise you, so I won't tell you what they are."
You are such a sweet person, and I insist on paying for the phone, and I insist on paying for the shipping. You have to send me the bill for that, boss.
Yeah, once we get the box,
yeah,
we'll figure out what through my work I can ship it, and then I think Clobby has some stuff that was meant to be sent to you. And maybe I'll.
What?
No, well, that was unfortunate with Mark C. I think weren't there some? I don't want to speak out of turn, but I think there were some comics or things.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, so maybe Clobby could send me those to my address, and I can put that all in that one box together.
Oh my goodness!
And get that up to you all in one fell swoop.
I'm gonna drop dead from a heart attack when that arrives. I'm just gonna be sitting there like a lunatic, probably bawling my eyes out.
Yeah. So I maybe should have had that conversation offline, but I just popped.
No, that's okay.
Popped in my head that the great Mark C that we all miss, and I'd only briefly known in the chat, but. I know he had some things he was gonna send you, so maybe we could get him to Canada. That I don't know if it's
he's a very sweet person.
Maybe that might be the way. Yeah, he was a.
That's how I met him. I met him through Clobby, and he and I became friends on Twitter. And he sent me his work and was showing me through a link some work that he had done, and that he cared very much about. And then he was a regular figure on a Saturday night Star Trek, and he wanted me to see the Star Trek burn work, and he really wanted me to see it. So I promised him. I said, okay, I'll go and I'll buy it on Amazon. And then
Yep.
I took a then I took a screenshot of it, and he didn't realize that it would be like $200 to get it, $200 Canadian to get it to me. And so he just said, "That's absurd. Let me go
Yep.
find that for you, and I'll send it to you." And so I said, "Yeah, you gotta how much do you want me to send you, and I'll pay for the shipping, and please send that to me." And yeah, he was just desperate for me to see the burn stuff. He said, "You got to see it, Raquel. You're really going to like it." So and I'm so sorry that we lost him,
Yeah, it
because
was
we used to hang out with him all the time on Saturday night. And also he reached out to me through Twitter privately and publicly on Twitter, and he was turning into a really good friend.
yeah, it's cancer is just really a horrible horrible thing. It took my dad a few years ago, and too many friends, and I'm sure everyone. I'm not everyone's been touched, unfortunately, in the worst way by cancer. Some people, thankfully have been able to beat it, but it's just a horrible thing, especially when it takes someone that young. As my dad, lived a full life, and but when it's takes someone that's so young and got so much more to live, and it's just a
And a
horrible.
young son.
And with a young son, and
Yeah,
you know
it's heartbreaking, and he was a part of our community, and he had strong opinions, and he wanted to be an influence and a voice uh, uh, toward the things that we love, geeks and
yep,
nerds. And he showed me nothing but kindness, and I thought that he was just an exceptional person. I had a lot of fun with him, and he lit up our chat and was just great to be around. And I just feel so bad, and it's truly sad what has happened there. And it's a hole in many of our lives. For some of us, a huge hole.
yep.
And it's heartbreaking. God rest his soul. And he was a wonderful person.
So I just post before we close down. I just posted in the chat there was a trek against pancreatic cancer,
Yeah,
which unfortunately my dad had. I don't know. That's a really terrible cancer to get, because
it is.
you don't there's no symptoms,
No.
which is what's especially scary about that. So I posted a link to that. Star Trek was uh, had a march and fundraiser. So
They did, yeah.
if I think you can donate all year. So I'm keeping that in the chat. So we had a great time tonight. So not to end on a downer, but that's something the community can do, is giving back to giving back. And as Clobby says, yeah, we tried to pay tribute to him last night, but didn't feel enough. Miss him. Yeah, I can always tell when you're talking about how much you miss him, and it's just a real crappy situation. There's really no words that you can say
No.
to explain it, or it's just it's a tough thing. But want to honor him, and then if you feel like donating to a charity like that, or any cancer charity, or I know Mark C's asked for donations to the Hero Initiative, which was helping to support comic book artists and writers that had fallen on hard times. So that's another great cause. So
Clobby has some projects coming up too. So I'm not going to reveal how they're going to take shape. That is not in my purview. But I would strongly encourage everyone to please stay tuned to the announcements that come out of Clobberin Times. Captain Clobby, he has some ideas for you to show your love and support, and and he will decide with the family. They're working it out together behind the scenes, and not that he'll decide. He'll announce what the family has decided to do, and how we can do a little more, and we can have a place to put our feelings into action. And so strongly encourage you to stay tuned to Clobberin Times, and Clobby will keep you abreast of those developments.
thank you. Yep, very well said. Very well said. So on that note, I think we'll close down the stream, and want to just really thank Raquel for coming on tonight, and we had a blast doing
An
this.
honor and a pleasure.
We had a lot of great fun, and so if you're I've always got to say, yeah, remember to like, subscribe, and then maybe the next video will be on some Mego Star Trek figures and Megos, and
Share
you
the
could pop
stream.
on, you could pop on for that. So let me.